The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tula at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The NBA Finals tipping off tonight. The Celtics are minus 225 favorites on ESPN Bet to win the title. But 80% of the bets at U.S. sportsbooks this week have been on the underdog Mavericks. Boston is a 6.5-point favorite for Game 1. Our ESPN radio coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern. The series also on ABC. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski first to report the Lakers are trying to bring UConn coach Dan Hurley to Los Angeles. Our Andrea Carter says the idea makes sense.
He's also so great at getting guys to buy in. Like, it's not easy for guys to buy into a program. So if you're on this Lakers team that hasn't had very much success, despite LeBron and AD having phenomenal seasons, they did not have success. So if you're all those other guys, why wouldn't you buy into something new?
Andrea Carter on Get Up. The Buccaneers will sign wideout Sterling Shepard to a one-year deal. He played his first 8 seasons with the Giants. He'll now be reunited with his old college quarterback at Oklahoma, Baker Mayfield.
As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live, U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir.
They're chanting.
Man. Ooh. Right out the chute. Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ton to do to get today. We're going to head to Pittsburgh in 15 minutes. Paul Skeens absolutely in fuego. We'll talk to Dan Zangrilli, who covers the Pirates. Christian Little, 1 hour from right now. Ben Mintz will be here. We'll do our picks in hour 2 today. Kendall Rogers in hour 3. Talk some Supers, some LSU season recap, all that good stuff. But let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Today is a pretty significant day for LSU football. It could be, anyway. You all probably by this point know well the story with Decorian Moore. Decorian Moore is a 5-star. He is by far the number 1 receiver in the country. He surprised the recruiting world back in August when he committed to LSU. At the time, then LSU had Bryce Underwood, Decorian Moore, Harlan Berry, the number 1 quarterback, running back, receiver in the country. And then last month, Decorian Moore decommitted from LSU, and everyone is sort of roundly assuming that it will be Texas that he picks. Well, as soon as he decommitted, LSU re-engaged and was like, hey, let's get you back on campus. Let's do an official visit. Why you were committed? Why wouldn't you consider us? And so Decorian Moore is in Baton Rouge starting an official visit today at LSU. And just like last week when you had DJ Pickett and some of the top cornerbacks in the country, Patrick Peterson was there to mingle with the guys a bit. LSU's pulling out all the stops, man. BK enlisted the help of one of the best receivers in the NFL in Jamar Chase. So last night before Decorian Moore came to Baton Rouge, he actually was hanging out with Jamar Chase. Shea Dixon, our buddy from On3, had the tweet earlier today in the picture of Chase and Decorian Moore hanging out last night. So LSU is putting the full court press on here for Decorian Moore to see if they can kind of get him back in the boat, back committed to LSU. I mean, the banner on his Twitter is still Decorian Moore in the LSU uniform from his photo shoot. And DeCorian Moore just a bit ago tweeted from the Baton Rouge airport, Baton Rouge, let's do it. And there's DeCorian Moore there in the Baton Rouge airport. So it's a big opportunity for LSU, for Brian Kelly, for this staff, getting DeCorian. The consensus. I'll get into part of the reason why I think it's important, and Chase, and I don't know, like I'm sure Texas could do the same thing though, couldn't they? Like, couldn't Texas get a really great current NFL receiver to meet with DeCorian Moore to convince him to go to campus? That could happen, couldn't it?
It could. But
I mean, here's the Texas receivers in the NFL. You want to hear them?
Yeah.
I mean, Devin Duvernay.
For the Ravens, yeah.
Lil Jordan Humphrey.
A former Saint.
Colin Johnson.
I don't know who that is.
He was on that team with Lil Jordan Humphrey in 2019 that played LSU. A.D. Mitchell.
Solid player.
Jordan Whittington. Xavier Worthy.
He's a rookie.
They all just got drafted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't have anybody like Jamar Chase they could? No?
Yeah, I guess they don't.
Yeah. I mean, Jamar Chase won a Biletnikoff. Sure, Texas has one of those guys, right? Did any of those guys win the Biletnikoff? No?
None of those guys, no.
Jamar Chase went number 5 overall, so one of those guys had to go top 5, right?
None of those guys, no.
Jamar Chase was the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Was one of those guys Offensive Rookie of the Year?
No.
Jamar Chase has been to 3 Pro Bowls in 3 years. Did any of those guys been to? No? I don't see. No. Jamar Chase was second-team All-Pro in 2021. One of those guys had to be, right? No. Jamar Chase went to a Super Bowl. Oh, no. So Texas can't do that. No. Okay.
Doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't look like it. Sorry. Hey, look, honestly, though, it does feel like a long shot for LSU, if we're just being candid. All the recruiting people seem to think, DeCorian Moore is from Texas, that he ends up at Texas. The surprise was that he ever committed to LSU. But Shea has told us this, and I think he's right. Finishing second in recruiting has never mattered more than it does now because of the transfer portal. A kid can go somewhere out of high school, and what if in a year or 2 years it's not working out, and they jump in the transfer portal, and all of a sudden, you're back in on a guy where you have a relationship built. So I know it sounds funny to say that, like finishing second matters, but it does in some respects. So we'll see if LSU can get DeCorian Moore back committed. But it feels like one of those. It really feels like one of those recruitments where Texas is just not going to lose him. This is like what happened with Terry Bussey last year, if you remember. LSU got in on Bussey, and I think they probably made the most compelling pitch to Terry Bussey, but LSU had already flipped Dominic McKinley, Cohen Eccles, Gabe Relaford, and Weston Davis. They had flipped 4 Texas A&M players out of that class after Jimbo got fired. And A&M, I think, just their boosters put their foot down like, we're not losing that kid. And so they just weren't going to – it was just a non-starter. They weren't going to lose Terry Bussey. So whatever they had to pay to get him, they were going to do it. And it kind of feels like Texas is in the same way with DeCorian Moore. Like, they're just going to make sure they get him. So we'll see what LSU can do this week or this weekend, having DeCorian Moore on campus right now. And maybe the best thing that LSU can sell, though, and listen, we're having fun with the Jamar Chase stuff, and obviously that's a massive. I'm literally looking at ESPN in studio right now, and they're talking about Jamar Chase on ESPN on NFL Live. It's crazy the fact that he's not at OTAs. Yes, he's not at OTAs because he's hanging out with DeCorian Moore, which maybe works to LSU's benefit. But the LSU receiver room in 2025 might actually be the biggest selling point for DeCorian Moore or for any receiver that LSU recruits in this class. Because when you look at that receiver room, look at who LSU is going to lose or likely to lose after the 24 season. Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton, C.J. Daniels is a one-year guy, Xavion Thomas, Aaron Anderson is going into his junior year. In theory, he could come back for a senior year, but we'll see. You could end up losing all of those guys, which means as you project to 2025, you'd have Shelton Sampson as a junior, Kyle Parker as a junior, and then all of the freshmen in this class that would be sophomores. Billiot, Turner, Jelani Watkins, so the guys that are going to be freshmen, I should say, and then they'll be sophomores. So then you'd add the 25 class and any transfers you go get. But the point is, you look like you're going into 2025 potentially without a lot of skins on the wall in the receiver room. I mean, it's never a position we worry about with LSU, so I'm not going to worry about it. But my point is, LSU really has something to sell to DeCorey and Moore. Come be a part of this offense where you have the number one quarterback in the country in Bryce Underwood coming in. You got the number one running back in Harlem Berry, guys when we have playing time immediately available. I mean, that's the pitch LSU's making to him right now, how they're going to use him, and also that there will be playing time available in 2025. So it's a big moment for LSU. They got DeCorey and Moore for his official visit on campus right now. As we have updates, we'll certainly let you know. All right, our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. And had an awesome time on Saturday over at the Sportsbook at LeBear's with our friends from Mockler Beverage. And, I mean, what's cooler than being the Bud Man? And, look, Mockler has continued to expand, right? They're here in Baton Rouge, but they've got their Homa office. They've got their Lake Charles office as well, and they're hiring. They have both full-time and part-time positions, benefits, medical, dental, vision, a 401k. They have CDL training, advancement opportunities, and it's just an awesome place to work where they value culture. Man, when I went to Lake Charles for that event where we did our show a few months back, if you remember, we had Will Wade come with us. We were there at Mockler in Lake Charles. Man, they had everybody from all three companies in one place. They cooked a big old pot of pastelaia, and they had live music and food and, of course, plenty of bud. And, it's just great community building around the whole company. They're great at culture at Mockler. Have been around for 40 years. So if you're not thrilled with where you're working, how about doing something cool like being the Bud Man? You can do it. And Mockler Beverage is hiring. Go to mocklerbeverage.com, mocklerbeverage.com. Again, apply online at mocklerbeverage.com. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on this Thursday. A ton to do. Let's head up to Pittsburgh. Paul Skeens got the win yesterday against the Dodgers. Struck out Shohei Ohtani. Not bad. Also gave up a homer to Shohei Ohtani, but still, he does that to a lot of people. Dan Zangrilli covers the Pirates. He's going to join us next. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Give them a buzz, y'all. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. If your Home Central AC isn't keeping up, as this hot weather is already getting rolling, if you have an issue, call River City's 1 Hour Air. Remember, you can always mention the Moscona special. Just mention the show. They'll knock $25 off any system repair at River City's 1 Hour Air. I love sharing reviews. I do this almost every day. This one was from Joe Crowell, who said, Jacob, the technician, knows his stuff. Came out, got us cool in a couple hours. No high pressure, telling me I need a new system. Just the facts. But we did purchase the maintenance plan, which was a good deal, thanks to River City's 1 Hour Air. Say it all the time as well. I'm a part of the membership club as well. Would highly recommend it. That seasonal maintenance I talk about is complimentary with that plan, so it basically pays for itself right there. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today. Or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Oshner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
The stuff itself was really good. As you saw in my first at bat, I couldn't really put together, good swings. But overall, just really good stuff. Rather than the velo, it's really the angle and the release. So, I made the adjustment the second at bat.
Shohei Ohtani threw his interpreter about facing Paul Skeens. Skeens got him the first time on 3 pitches, and on the second AB, Ohtani took Skeens deep. He did have a 2-strike count on him at that point, but arguably the best hitter in the world broke through. Man, I can only imagine what it's like in Pittsburgh right now on days when Skeens takes the bump. A guy who knows is Dan Zangrilli, who is the pre and post host for the Pirates broadcast on 93.7 The Fan. He's good enough to join us now. Dan, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
We're doing well. Obviously, a little hop in the step with Skeens in the rotation, and you back them up with the Jared Jones and Mitch Keller. So here in Pittsburgh, baseball, it's back and it's buzzing, which is something that we don't normally get. And boy, Paul Skeens is really a big part of that. So glad to be on, kind of where it all began, or at least a place where it was so integral.
Certainly where it launched, if not began, into the stratosphere. I saw your tweet video of the vibes at the park last night at PNC, and it's pretty cool to see. And obviously, so much of that is rooted in a day when Skeens is pitching. Can you kind of give us a sense of what it is like in Pittsburgh when Skeens is on the bump?
I mean, there's a buzz, there's a confidence. He's one of the best pitching prospects perhaps ever, I would say, certainly in Pirates history. And this is an organization that, as you guys know, drafted Garrett Cole 1-1 back in 2011. And he was integral in the Pirates rotation when they won and broke 20 years of futility in 2013 and 14 and 15. He was so big for them. And Skeens is all that and more. It's obviously for a small market city and team like Pittsburgh, they've notoriously been spendthrifts. They have no other access to this type of arm talent. It's not going to happen in free agency, and other organizations are going to be really hard-pressed to trade it to you. So for an organization like Pittsburgh to get something of that caliber, someone like Paul Skeens, it has to be through the draft. And the fact that, the Pirates did go get him at 1-1, it's really sent the city into a buzz. And then you add the character, the military background, the demeanor, the skill set, just everything, the whole package that he is. He's quickly becoming legendary, much like he was at LSU and even Air Force to a certain extent. He's fast becoming through 5 major league starts. The guy and one of the most highly coveted baseball cards, highly coveted interviews, highly coveted autograph signings, all of that stuff is in the HOV lane, and he's ticketed for stardom.
what was the reaction around there when the call-up was so delayed? I mean, we obviously know why the Pirates waited. I mean, they wanted to maintain control for as long as they can of his rights. But what was it? What was the conversation like in Pittsburgh around that?
I mean, everybody, because of everything that I just mentioned, was just so antsy, chomping at the bit. And the Pirates have a reputation that precedes them for not really doing what you need to do to extrapolate proper value out of what they have had in their organization. Pirates fans are scorned and snake-bitten watching whether it's a Garrett Cole or Tyler Glasnow, or in some instances Charlie Morton moving on to other organizations, and that's just to name three, going on and having success and being on the mound in Game 7 of the World Series. So, they don't have a ton of trust in the organization in doing it right. And I obviously, differ, and in my opinion is more in line with the organization. What they've done, it's obviously really judicious. But yeah, it was frustrating. They, are reading the quotes of scouts that you hear from them, and yeah, this guy's ready day one in Major League Baseball. He could walk off the mound from Omaha and step into a big league game in August of 2023. Yeah. And they hear that, they're like, well, why isn't he here? So yeah, there was a fan base that was chomping at the bit. One day was one day too long, to answer your question.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically doing to big leaguers what he did to college kids last year. It's a little unfair. When you watch him on the mound, is there any surprise that he has had such dramatic, immediate effect against big league hitters?
No.
Okay.
In just, a one-word answer, no, because you see the stuff, how sublime it is. 101 out of the hand, you have the splinker in there, and that's just become just one of the nastiest, filthiest things that a pitcher could ever draw up. I mean, 3 polished major league pitches, the size, the stature, the demeanor, like he checks every conceivable box he's constructed out of a video game. He was made in a petri dish. So, no, we're not surprised at all. And what he did, obviously, at Wrigley Field in the Cubs start, which I don't know, was that the second or third that he made in the big league, that was a thing of legend. And, my broadcast partners losing their mind on the air. So this is like happy days are here again in Pittsburgh. I don't want to short sell it at all for those listening, in Baton Rouge.
Dan Zangrilli is with us, 93.7 The Fan in Philadelphia, does Pirates broadcast pre and post. Skeens, of course, threw last night against the Dodgers. And I mentioned Shohei, who Skeens struck him out on 3 pitches in the first at-bat. Then he homered, finally caught up to one of the fastballs in that second at-bat. Do you see, as you're watching, every outing, every inning pitch, how do you see hitters starting to adjust to Skeens?
Well, it's going to be tough through 5 starts. I mean, second time through the lineup, they've seen the fastball once. So, the really good hitters of the world, like Ohtani, for instance, he made the adjustment in at-bat number 2, strikes out on 3 pitches. He gets his foot down and is able to take him dead central. And that's, I think, the extreme example. But even Freddie Freeman, there's some familiarity there. So, the cat and mouse game is going to be an ongoing thing for him, especially when he sees teams twice. Skeens is obviously a high action guy, so he's going to be able to maybe be one step ahead, and he dives into the analytics as much as anybody. So I think I can't answer that at this point. It would be an incomplete answer because I do want to see, and I'm eager to see that second time through the lineup, third time through the lineup within a game. But let's get to July, August, when he sees Cincinnati for the second time, when he sees Chicago for the second time. That's going to be really interesting because we even saw the Dodgers. I think the Pirates threw nearly 30 pitches last night at 100 miles an hour or more. Aroldis Chapman threw a handful at 103 and 104 last night. But even still, the Dodgers out hit the Pirates 11-9, and I'm not sure how many of their hits came on 100 miles an hour or plus. So at this level, 101 is nice. It helps cure a lot of ills and mistakes, and you can live in places that other pitchers don't normally live with that type of velo, but still, it will get hit. So he's going to need the splinker. He's going to need the slider. The changeup is going to be an important pitch as time goes on for sure. So that's what I'm eager to see. Can't answer it at this moment. If I had a hair to splice or a bone to pick, I would say just the pitch efficiency is something that he's going to have to learn to get through maybe, 3 pitches or less, 4 pitches or less, to be able to get to the 6th, 7th inning with more consistency as opposed to the 5th inning.
29-32 for Pittsburgh. They're 6.5 back in the division right now in Milwaukee. Is this a team that has the ability to get hot and play in the postseason?
If the offense cooperates and the bullpen is able to hold down leads, yes, absolutely, because their starting pitching, I think, is as good as any. And if they're able to sneak in like the Arizona Diamondbacks did with 84 wins, this was a 76-win club a year ago, Pittsburgh. They've got a starting staff that's one of, I think, the best in baseball. Bailey Falter goes tonight. What a great story he's been. But then you've got kind of the ace of the staff in Mitch Keller, and Jared Jones has been just as good. Maybe in some cases you could argue better than Skeens. And then Skeens himself, that's a formidable 4. And the bedrock of any winning or championship organization is starting pitching. So the Pirates check that box in a big way. It's been a very frustrating year in Pittsburgh because they have not been able to supplement and have otherwise wasted terrific starting pitching performances. And there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than doing just that. This team should be right at the heels of Milwaukee, if not already in first place. I think they've left somewhere between 6 to 8 wins on the table. So to answer your question, if the offense cooperates, absolutely. The division is within grasp. I don't think that there's any clear-cut favorite in the NL Central. I think first to last is going to be separated by single digits. 9 games maybe. The 5th-place team will be back in the Central. So it's there for the taking. I do wonder, did they dig themselves too big of a hole to climb out of? So that's going to be the frustrating part. But they've got to support this pitching staff. The offense of late has been better. But if you look back at some of those April numbers, oh boy, they were 11 and 17 in that month, Matt, and it was some lean times, and they flushed away a lot of wins that were out there on the table.
Dan, you seen a lot of purple and gold at the ballpark?
Yes, obviously more so than you otherwise would.
Right.
The Pitt Panthers are obviously ACC territory. You got a lot of Penn State fans up here, Big Ten country. Even a smattering of WVU fans, Big 12. But so it's a pro sports town. The college scene is split 3 different ways. But, the Livy Dunn factor, obviously, in our business. Yeah, did you see the viral video of the kid on
yes.
with Hannah? Oh, my gosh, hilarious. But you're bringing in that Hume that it's kind of a, dare I say, a watered-down version of like the Taylor Swift factor that, she had on Travis Kelce in the Kansas City Chiefs. We're seeing that to a degree, especially with the Zoomers, Gen Z, the TikTok, Snapchat generation. That's huge. And by all accounts, I mean, everything that I've heard, because I know some folks down at LSU, and they've said that she's just an A-plus person and is a great complimentary person to what is fast becoming a budding power couple and made for social media. And here in Pittsburgh, we're embracing every moment of it, no doubt.
Dan Zangrilli, enjoy the ride, man. We appreciate a couple of minutes. Go Bucks.
Hey, thank you, guys. I'm glad to welcome all of the newfound Pirate fans in Baton Rouge aboard, and hope to do this again with you, Matt.
Oh, we'd love to do it. Dan Zangrilli there from 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. It is always interesting when you have that dynamic. I mean, we saw it in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow and all the LSU jerseys in Cincinnati and the Bengals jerseys here, including the guy who was on air before me. The big difference here is there is no hometown team here. There is no baseball team in Louisiana, so allegiances are sort of it's interesting because the allegiances are what am I trying to say? Sporadic? Is that a good way to say it? I mean, everybody cheers for a team here that is an MLB fan for a different reason. Like there's Cubs fans because you watch WGN. Like Paul's a Braves fan, grew up watching Turner. Muse is a fake Red Sox fan because they got good and he decided to be a front runner. I mean, so there's a lot of stuff like that happens around here. Which am I wrong?
I mean,
wrong?
No. I mean, I don't necessarily think you're right though either. But I mean, gosh, cut me some slack. I'm sticking with them. They stink. Like front running days are over, brother. Like God.
The one that really annoys me is like I was in college when 04 happened. And I was also in college when 03 happened. That was a lot more fun. That was of course Boone's homer in 03 off of Wakefield. 04 was when the Red Sox came back from down 3-0. And you started to see a lot of Red Sox hats around campus in 2004. Never saw Red Sox hats before. 2004, oh, look there, everybody's a Red Sox fan. Got it, sure. Anyway, all that to say, yeah, like there's room on the Pittsburgh bandwagon around here. Like people will buy Skeens jerseys and wear Pittsburgh hats because why not? Cheer for Skeens. All right, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified, pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. You can always get on by Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. The average car buyer visits 1.2 dealerships. You know, when I bought my first car, it was a thing where you'd get up on a Saturday, you go to 5 different dealerships, test drive, see who can haggle and get the best price. Not anymore. You shop online, and then you go buy your vehicle. So start at southpointvw.com. 0% for 60 months right now on select vehicles over at South Point Volkswagen. And remember, if you're a college student, they got the $500 bonus. It's $500 off any vehicle for college students at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, southpointvw.com. For our Lafayette folks, Southwest Volkswagen. And, of course, southpointvw.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? I did think it was funny. If you haven't seen the image, there's a still shot that's rolling around the internet right now for those that haven't seen it. After Ohtani homered off of Skeens yesterday, and Skeens blew 3 fastballs by him in the first at bat, and then Ohtani swung and missed at one and watched another in the second at bat. So he was down 2 strikes, and then he finally hit one, and he hit it out to center. And Skeens, like Ohtani's coming out of the box, looking at it, and Skeens turns around and he's just got this like poop-eaten grin on his face. Look, as he knows he got by arguably the best hitter in the world, and Skeens is just like looking at the ball, leaving center. He just knows he just knows, and he's just smiling. No hands on hips, no disappointment, no cursing, just big old smile. Yeah, he got me.
Kind of psychotic, I'm not going to lie. I kind of dig it.
It's like, hey, man, this is awesome, man.
Right?
Shohei Ohtani just hit a 420-foot over off
That
of
went far.
That was awesome. Oh, man. The other thing that Dan mentioned is what happens when organizations or teams start to see Skeens for the second time. Well, remember, Skeens' first 2 starts are both against the Cubs. So his second ever start was against the team that had just seen him 5 days prior, and he threw 6 shutout innings and 6 shutout no-hit innings and struck out 11. So it didn't work so hot for the Cubs the second time they saw him. But we'll continue to watch. It's a fascinating story. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. We'll go around the SEC. Carl Granderson, Chris Olave, Isaiah Foskey all met with reporters. Some interesting things that I want to delve into. And Christian Little, 30 minutes from right now. We'll talk to the former LSU pitcher coming up here shortly. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Tell you every day, if you are a business owner, you're caught in the hiring rat race, you just can't be efficient, you're struggling to find people that show up on time, do the job they're supposed to do it in an efficient manner, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com. If you're tired of hiring people that are unreliable, if you're tired of hiring people that work too slowly, Glow is going to find people that work hard, that show up on time, and they have the process down because this is what they do. Glow Resources hires more than 1,000 people a year. So it doesn't matter if it's skilled blue-collar workers, if it's white-collar jobs that you're looking to fill, C-level management. Glow Resources conducts more than 15,000 interviews a year. They know the right questions to ask, they know how to vet the candidates, and they know how to place the right people in your job. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online at glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions, Glow Resources.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagine.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Our Rad Dad contest is back, presented by Roaming Shot Outdoors and Shooting Range. Upload a picture of your dad doing dad things to 1045ESPN.com for a chance to win him a Blackstone grill with all the accessories, 1 long-range shooting class for 2 from Roaming Shot Outdoors and Shooting Range, steaks from Chris's Specialty Foods, a Hawk soap. I combined Hawk and soap. A Hawk soap gift basket and a full throttle package from Finish Line Haircuts. We'll be choosing a winner June 14th. Happy Father's Day from Roaming Shot Outdoors and Shooting Range, 1045 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
It's all good, Muse. It's 4:20 somewhere. When do I get to talk about this? Oh, hour 3. Okay. I went to Supper Club last night. Got off air, went to Supper Club, and I got to experience all 7 of the new items on the menu. It's the second break of hour 2. Of hour 3, excuse me. So I'll get to it later. But that was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. You should be very jealous. I'm jealous of myself that I got to go do that last night. Anyway.
How does that even work?
I don't know.
How can you be jealous of yourself?
I don't know, but I am.
Right.
Like maybe instead of saying jealous of myself, I feel fortunate. Like, I don't want to say embarrassed, but what is it whenever you get to, what's the word I'm looking for? Unworthy?
Okay.
Maybe, something like that. I mean, amazing. Had an amazing experience last night. Shout out to Leighton over there, Chef Leighton over at Supper Club. They were, Noah, who was our server last night, just every time you go in there, it's an amazing experience. Anyway, I'll talk about that more later. But needless to say, I ate a buttload of food, and it has been a slow day for your boy today to get the wheels turning.
Food
coma? A food coma that has lasted 20 hours. Yes, I am still in that food coma from last night, but it was awesome. All right, it's after further review we are glad to have you with us here. Real quick, one of the things we talked about yesterday with Saints OTAs was Chris Olave, red no contact jersey, shoulder injury. Olave did meet with reporters after, and they asked him about his shoulder. Here's what he said.
Oh, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just doing treatment every day, trying to get better. I heard it in the weight room a little bit, but it's just been in the training room trying to get right.
So that sounds good. I mean, look, he was out there. He was still practicing in a voluntary workout, so it didn't appear that it was anything that was going to be real serious, but that's the good news, right, is that he was out there. He said there's nothing to worry about. And, you continue to hear this from the offensive guys that we heard it from Derek Carr, and now you're hearing it from Olave. We heard it from the offensive lineman as well, the switch in the offense. And there's some sort of like palpable excitement. It's sort of invigorating, I would imagine, when you've done the same thing for so long to have a new offense. And Olave kind of said the same thing.
I love it, man. It's a great offense for the playmakers that we have, the West Coast offense that San Francisco ran. So we got a lot of playmakers since my first year, so it's to be able to use them. And with a lot of pre-snap motion, a lot of different things that we haven't ran in the past, they bring here, so I'm excited.
We are going through a lot of like different models and projections and prognostications. In 30 minutes, I will tell you, there is one model that Saints win total in Vegas is 7.5, right? The over-under. There is one model that projected the Saints not only over 7.5, but way over 7.5. Like eyes, like the gif of the cartoon with the eyes that go bigger than your face, like that kind of thing. We're going to get into that again in about 30 minutes from right now. Right now, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Ole Miss Rebels.
Running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt has flipped his commitment back to Arizona. He's a New Mexico transfer, had been committed to Arizona, flipped to Ole Miss, now has flipped back to Arizona. He flipped to Ole Miss back on April the 19th. Began his career at Alabama State. So Alabama State, New Mexico, Arizona commit, Ole Miss commit, now Arizona commit again for Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Zane Denton has entered the transfer portal. He's leaving Tennessee after not playing for the Vols in 2024. Denton committed. He was, one of the heroes for Tennessee during their 2023 College World Series. Announced he was returning to Tennessee for a second season after going undrafted. Never returned to the roster due to personal reasons, and now is entering the portal. Switch hitting third baseman has 1 season of eligibility remaining.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama pitcher Alton Davis has entered the transfer portal, and we should expect this is going to start happening hot and heavy now that the portal window is open with players entering. So Davis is a lefty. He's in the portal, though, with a do not contact tag, which is odd, which means, like, if he's interested, he'll reach out to places, but schools can't reach out to him. A little weird. He was on the Stopper of the Year midseason watch list, finished with 4 saves. As a freshman for the Crimson Tide, he was second-team freshman All-America as well, and was on the freshman All-SEC team.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And Tim Corbin has parted ways with assistant coaches Mike Baxter and Tyler Shoemaker. Kendall Rogers, our buddy from D1 Baseball, is the one who had that news first. Vandy was 0-2 in the Clemson Regional to end their season. Baxter was the hitting coach. Vandy hit just .286 on the season. Shoemaker spent 3 years in Nashville, primarily working with the catchers. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Always encourage you to check out the Williamson Eye Center on their social media as well. Check out their Facebook page, their Instagram. Lots of always good stuff that you can check out. And remember, summer is here, so it's a great time to book your eye exam, especially before back to school when things get really, really busy. So you can call to schedule that eye exam. Remember, you should always, always, always have your annual eye exam. So if you haven't done it, book it now at the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Tell you every day, eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. Eye care is for your eye exams. Eyewear, if you wear contacts or glasses, you can buy them over at the Williamson Eye Center. And, of course, eye surgery. If you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. 924-2020 or williamsoni.com. All right, y'all. It is After Further Review. We're glad you're with us here, rolling through hour number 1. Tonight is game 1 of the NBA Finals as well. Do y'all have y'all made a pick on the NBA Finals? Are you even interested, Muse, Paulie?
I like the Mavericks actually to get it done.
Okay, really? How many games?
I think it goes deep. I'll go 6.
So, all right, so Mavericks in 6. Paulie, you want to make a pick?
I think the Celtics are going to do it in 6.
Celtics in 6. I'm going to go Celtics in 7.
Ooh.
Celtics on their home floor in 7. I do think Boston, I'm very much pulling for Dallas. And I don't hate your pick. I think certainly Dallas has had the more daunting path to the NBA Finals than the Celtics did through the East. But it's just it is a massive, massive spot for Jason Tatum. This feels like a legacy moment for a young guy who's 27, who's carried that organization, who's won a ton of playoff games, but has not gotten over the hump. And how appropriate that the Lakers, on the day the NBA Finals start, they drop their news about Dan Hurley. So, idiots. Anyway, it's After Further Review. Maybe we'll get some more talk about the NBA Finals, but we got a lot to do. When we come back, college football is unveiling a chunk of its bowl schedule, and there is one completely, utterly boneheaded thing that college football is doing in the bowl season that I'll talk about when we come back to wrap up hour number 1. Christian Little in 15 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
Right by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 amazing hotel properties. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. It's funny. A lot of times they have live music over at the Renaissance, and so my buddy, Mr. Toby Tomplay, who, of course, does our theme here, Toby texted me a few weeks back, and we were working on the jingle for Parrish. And he's like, "Hey, man, by the way, like if you've never been over to the Renaissance, you should go. They got this great restaurant in there, Tula. You're like, the burger is like the best burger you'd ever eat. And it's like $12." I was like, so I clipped my live read from that day talking about Tallulah, and I sent it to him. But it's look, that was an unsolicited validation and affirmation about Tallulah. It really is a great spot. It's a casual, upscale dining experience. It's a chef-inspired menu there. Chef Jason Aber has done an awesome job. It's affordable. It's a great place to go after work, or if you want to have a cocktail or a bite to eat on a weekend. Make sure you check out Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. There is an official bowl season Twitter now, and actually the guy who runs bowl season is Nick Caparelli for ESPN. He's going to be with us tomorrow to talk about this. The bowl season has released bowl schedule now. There are going to be 2 bowls on the second Saturday in December. And that's the Army-Navy day. So Army-Navy won't have a standalone that day. That's one thing worth noting, which I guess that stinks. But, it's the Cricket Celebration Bowl and the Camellia Bowl are both going to be on Saturday, December the 14th. So that you'll have to choose Army-Navy or the Cricket Celebration Bowl, which is at noon. Well, the Camellia Bowl is at night, at 9 o'clock. So you can watch that later. No worries. The thing that is getting the most attention today, and justifiably so, is that in the first year of the 12-team college football playoff, the first round games are going to kick off on December the 20th. And that's, December 20th and 21st. ABC will televise those games on Friday and Saturday night with a 7 o'clock Central kickoff, and then TNT will have the December 21st afternoon games at 12 and 4. So I guess that would be 11 and 3 Central. That is significant because those 2 games will go head-to-head with NFL games on that Sunday. And, man, on Saturday. That is just not a great idea. College football, in its first season of the 12-team playoff, will have on-campus first-round games head up against Houston, Kansas City, and Baltimore, Pittsburgh. I understand we are in a college football market here in Baton Rouge, and quite honestly, if you just look at a map of the United States and you look at the Southeast, if you look at a heat map of what is the most popular sport, the entire country is the NFL, the Southeast is college football. That's it. Everybody else is the NFL. And these playoff games are going to get gutted in their TV ratings because our country is going to watch the NFL. That's going to be C.J. Stroud against Patrick Mahomes in December when they're vying for playoffs and all that sort of stuff. That's what the country is going to be watching. It's going to be Lamar Jackson against the Steelers in an afternoon game opposite a college football playoff game. We'll be watching the college football playoff game more so than we would Baltimore-Pittsburgh, but the rest of the country won't be. And you really would have thought the college football playoff would have learned their lesson here. Because do you remember the thing the college football playoff wanted to be initially was a New Year's Eve event? Do you remember there was a big marketing campaign about how they were going to make the college football playoff the New Year's Eve event? Well, the reality is there's some 30 million people fewer that watch TV on New Year's Eve than on New Year's Day or any other day because people go out. It's New Year's Eve. You're doing a thing. You're not sitting at home. Most of America isn't just sitting at home. And if you are, you're watching the ball drop. You're watching Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve or whatever. Back in that 2015 season, the first time that they had college football playoffs on New Year's Eve, the Bama-Michigan game was down 34% from the year prior. ESPN ended up owing its advertisers $15 million in make goods because the way those deals are done is the network promises a certain reach, a certain audience, and So that's what the advertiser's paying for. And so when the ratings come in, when you're down 34%, you owe those advertisers make good. So you have to then give them inventory in the Final Four or NFL or playoffs or whatever it may be. So it's a net loss. It's a losing proposition for the networks when you do that. And it feels like they're walking down this path again. Now, there was an exception 2 years ago. Remember, you had the Georgia-Ohio State game that ended 42-41 and the TCU-Michigan game that was 51-45. They averaged 22 million viewers on New Year's Eve, which is a great night. But you had two bonkers football games that people raced to the television to see how it all ended. I guess my point is, man, don't tug on Superman's cape. Like, the NFL is real. And when you think about what would a first-round playoff game look like, that could be Kansas-Boise State. Kansas could be the Big 12 champion, and Boise State could be the G5. Like, that could be in a playoff game in Lawrence, Kansas, with the Jayhawks against Boise State. How do you think that's going to do against Houston, Kansas City? I mean, this feels like you're setting up for don't make me say I told you so, but it feels like that's what they're heading for in this first year. They're going to learn a lesson the hard way, going head-to-head with the NFL. All right, Christian Little joins us next here to kick off Hour 2 of AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding. Oh, yeah. They do indoor shutters as well over at Relief Windows. One of the very cool things, I know I've been telling you about this a lot lately, and I pulled up on their Facebook earlier today, and I saw they have a video of those 3D models that I've been telling you about. So it's really, really cool. If you go to the Relief Windows Facebook page, you can see this. It's an example of the 3D model that I'm talking about. So if you want to install windows or siding or whatever, they can show you a 2-scale 3D model of your home and what it would look like with these windows, with that siding, specific colors. It's very interactive. So you could do this with one of their consultants there at the office on Airline Highway in Prairieville. So call to schedule that consultation. It's 288-8138, 288-8138, or go to reliefwindows.com, reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do indoor shutters as well at Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques, Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight as the Celtics host the Mavericks. Boston is 12-2 in the playoffs. Dallas is 7-2 on the road, and they've beaten 3 of the top 4 seeds in the West. Game 1 coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern here on ESPN Radio. The series also on ABC. Our Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Lakers are making a serious run at UConn head coach Dan Hurley. At a meeting with his UConn players today, Hurley says he's listening. ESPN's Seth Greenberg.
He's going to go and he's going to look, and he's going to smell the roses. But there's a decision maker in that room that people are not talking about, and that's his wife, Andrew. He will not take that job unless she's comfortable with it. They are a team. And she has a voice, and it might be the perfect situation, but she's got to be comfortable with that. This will be a family decision.
Seth Greenberg on Greeny. Woj reports those discussions will escalate in the next few days. At the French Open today, women's semifinals, Iga Swiatek and Jasmine Paolini advance to the women's final.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Friday. I'll tell you whether or not the Lakers have any chance to win one more championship with LeBron and Anthony Davis. It's Unsportsmanlike, Friday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Used to. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We'll do some super regional picks with Mintz here in about half hour. Kendall Rogers, 1 hour from right now. There is a computer model that absolutely loves the 2024 New Orleans Saints. We're going to talk about that in 15 minutes. I was blown away when I saw this earlier today. I'm sure your reaction will be similar, but we'll get to that shortly. LSU baseball season came to an end disappointing fashion Monday at the Chapel Hill Regional, and of course compounded by the fact that we didn't get to see Christian Little pitch in that regional because of the lat injury. But Little's career at LSU has come to an end, headed toward the draft, and Christian's good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Christian, we appreciate the time, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Man, it's our pleasure. We appreciate the time. Let me just start by asking what I'm sure is on the top of every LSU fan's mind. You know, the injury. How you doing, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing well. I'm going to stay here in Baton Rouge this summer in rehab. Some upper tricep and then teres major, discomfort and things and such. So we're going to take care of that. I'm going to rehab this summer and then go ahead and do that to doing Pro Bowl.
Was it was that lat injury, or what you described there, something that you dealt with all during the season that came to a head against Tennessee, or was it something that just kind of came up on you in that SEC championship?
No, so it wasn't even a lat injury. It's a muscle that kind of connects to the lat. It's called the teres major, and it kind of is over some functions of the arm or whatnot, and tricep. And tricep I was dealing with majority of the season, and then the teres major was kind of a surprise thing versus Tennessee. So I had no idea that was even remotely going to happen, and then obviously the Tennessee outing happened.
You just rolled the names of those muscles off your tongue like nothing, man. Are you a kinese major? You biology major? You gonna be like pre-med? What did you major in?
Nah, just paying a lot of attention to people who have been talking to me about certain things lately, and just trying to gain knowledge so I can take care of my body with this situation and ultimately in the future for future situations.
Yeah, man. Earlier this year it was so interesting because tell me if I'm off on this, Christian, but around the Vanderbilt weekend, it was just obvious. It was like, it seemed like that's when you started to really feel comfortable, and then the A&M weekend you exploded, and all down the stretch. I mean, it was probably, you tell me if you disagree, probably the most consistent, best we saw you pitch during your 2 years at LSU. Do you feel that way? And did something happen around that time that really caused you to springboard and feel comfortable?
Yeah, I think going into the Auburn outing, I think that's when I kind of started feeling super confident in where I was. I just think I kind of just started clicking on some things that I've been working on since I had gotten to LSU and struggled with just getting back comfortable and sort of things with my mechanics and everything around that dynamic. Just got comfortable and got a lot of confidence, and then confidence breeds success, and success breeds confidence, and they go kind of hand in hand. It kind of just took off, and I had a good run.
Man, you and Christian Little's our guest. You talked about some things you've been working on since you've been here, and I can't help but think about this every time I think about LSU's pitchers that have been here for the last 3 years. 3 years, 3 different pitching coaches, and obviously you came in from Vanderbilt. So in the last 3 years of your career, you had 3 different pitching coaches, 3 different voices. Is that something that we, like media, just talk about, or is that really a challenge when you have a different pitching coach every year?
Yeah, for me, in simple terms, kind of just like I've had 3 really good pitching coaches and really respected, wise-minded coaches since I've been in college. I mean, Vanderbilt, Scott Brown, he's been there forever, and everybody knows who he is. And then you go Wes Johnson, who's obviously coaching at Georgia now and leading that school to some great things that hasn't been done there in a while. And then Coach Yeski, who came in, and I mean, it's kind of overlooked, but I mean, our pitching staff had a better year than last year, and that was a team with Paul Skeens on it. And so you have these guys that are all really good at their jobs, and in my situation, I was getting told different things by each of them that I could work on and change, this and that, whatever. And I think with Coach Yeski this year, some things just clicked because it stopped getting to the point where he was trying to tell me to do certain things, and more so just help me figure out what I feel works best for me, and started simplifying some things up. Things started clicking in my head, and I started getting on a better path as far as just pitching better and throwing the ball with confidence.
Christian Little is our guest. Look, I mean, I know everybody here was disappointed that we didn't get to see you in the regional. I got to ask, were you close to being able to pitch in the regional at all? What was it like for you to have to watch your guys go out there and not be able to throw?
I mean, I guess now the season's over. I mean, I would have been out for the rest of the year. So, I mean, it was a tough blow for me. Just I've never had to miss playoff baseball while being in college. And, I mean, it was tough not being able to compete. And I feel like, obviously, I mean, the competitor in me feels like the result of the weekend would be different if I was on the roster. But, I mean, we had great arms, and, I mean, we went out with our best arm. So, I mean, it's hard to be bitter about the way the season ended with a guy like Gage Jump on the mound. So, I mean, that's a guy we all have all the trust in the world in, and things didn't work out for us. And, I mean, there's guys that are going to return next year that learned a lot from this year, and there's guys that are going to go into Pro Bowl with a lot that we learned. So, I mean, all in all, we had a good season.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that. I do. I appreciate your candor. I know that's not something easy to talk about. As a guy who came here, transferred in from Vanderbilt, and you got to spend 2 years in Baton Rouge. This place can sometimes get into people's blood, and they never leave. They stay here forever, make it their home. What was the 2 years in Baton Rouge like for you?
I mean, a kid coming from St. Louis, Missouri. I mean, college sports really isn't a big thing. I mean, we got multiple professional sports teams there, so the whole college scene of sports and supporting the college wasn't really a thing to me. And then I go to Vanderbilt, and it's really not. It's kind of the same there. I mean, baseball is the one sport that matters there. Football, I mean, everybody knows about Vanderbilt football. but just not non-existent. But I mean,
Vandy football catching strays.
Yeah, yeah. That's no disrespect to
No,
their
of
program
course,
that
of
they got
course.
going over there. But I mean, when you come to LSU, I mean, it's a different vibe. It's a different feeling. I mean, you really feel that Southern, just like buy-in that everybody talks about. And I mean, there's no better place to go watch other athletics besides baseball than here. Then you go in, and play in the box, and I mean, there's no environment like it.
Man, I know a lot of people enjoyed watching you pitch. And, of course, dude, you will forever be a national champion as well. I'm curious, we had Alex Milazzo in studio with us yesterday. He said, like, everywhere he goes, people talk to him about, the championship last year, breaking his leg, score the run, jumping on Paul Skeens' back, all that sort of stuff. When you go around town, like, what are the things that people talk to you about? I'm sure you get stopped and kids maybe ask for an autograph or a picture. What's the thing people talk to you about?
Just I don't know, just how it feels to play for LSU, and I mean, it's one of the coolest things you can do, honestly. But a lot of guys ask me about Paul, Dylan, different guys that I've played with here. A lot of people ask me about my past at Vanderbilt and how I feel about it being here, and do I like here more? And I mean, those questions, and I mean, the answer is yeah. I love LSU. I mean, I'm gonna be a LSU fan for the rest of my life, and that's that.
Speaking of Paul, did you watch him? Did you watch Skeens yesterday against Otani?
Oh yeah, that's got to be super cool for Skeens too. I mean, especially since he was a two-way when he got here. Yeah. So I mean, he was, at one point he was the Otani of college at Air Force. So
did you pitch against him in inter squads last year? Like, did he ever hit?
I never got to pitch against Paul, but I mean, I watched him hit, and I'm pretty sure he had about five or six home runs in the fall. If I'm not mistaken. Somewhere. So I don't know. It was something like that. I mean, I thought Paul was going to be our 3-hole hitter for a while. I mean, that's a dude that has uber talent and can really do anything he wants on a baseball field.
Christian Little is our guest. Yeah, no argument, man. Hey, before you go, obviously the draft is a little more than a month away. I would assume it's you said rehab, you get ready for the draft. Are you at a point where your representation, where you are talking to teams and scouts? I'm curious what some of the feedback is you're getting, like what your expectations are going into the draft process.
Yeah, I really don't even have any expectations. I'm just ready to show up and play. My representation kind of takes care of all of that, and I kind of just take care of showing up at the field. So, I mean, they're going to give me more context on all of that closer to the draft day. But, I mean, as of lately, I kind of just been focused on the rehab portion of my life.
Yeah. As a guy who had a decision to make last year, whether to come out after your junior year, return for your senior year, knowing you forfeit your leverage, right, if you come back for a senior year. If there was a young player who came and asked your advice, like, what would you tell them about the decision going pro after a junior year, returning for a senior year, knowing every case is unique to itself? But what generally would you tell people?
Yeah, I think the decision is based on if you're ready or not. And I wasn't ready to meet Baton Rouge yet. I felt like I wanted to go and earn some respect back. I had a season that I didn't necessarily like or enjoy, and from a performance standpoint, obviously, I mean, I love the team, my teammates, and we won a national championship. But my personal performance wasn't up to my standards, so I went back because I wanted to go right what I felt like were my wrongs. And I feel like if you're a player in this position and you have a choice of going back or taking the draft money, I think you just got to look at yourself and ask, like, what do I need? Set on bullet points on both sides and do what's best for you and your family.
Yeah. Man, thoughtful, insightful, candid. I really appreciate the conversation, man. A lot of people here will be pulling for you wherever you go and wherever life takes you, man. We'll keep in touch, and we appreciate a couple of minutes, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's our pleasure. Christian Little wrapped up his LSU career, and, man, what a way for him personally, obviously, to finish. I mean, the last month for sure, 4 to 6 weeks of the season, he was awesome. I mean, he kind of developed as your best right-handed. If Herring was your best lefty out of the bullpen, Little was your best right-handed arm out of the bullpen. He was fantastic at the end of the year. It's going to be really interesting to watch what happens with him in the draft process because, like, I give you we're running long here, but I'll give you an example. Like, Gavin Dugas last year. I think Gavin was a 6th-round pick. I think Gavin, as a senior sign, got like $10,000. That's just what happens. When you're a senior sign, you lose your leverage, so you're not going to make money in the draft. But you think about a guy like Christian Little, who's got the body, and y'all, he's only 20. Do you realize Gavin Guidry is older than Christian Little? That's stunning to think about. But he reclassified, went to Vanderbilt as a 17-year-old, and was already a young guy. Now was a senior, and he's 20. So he's got the body, he's got the experience, and he has the youth, which makes him so appealing as a prospect. So somebody is going, like Christian Little might be. I mean, don't be surprised if after the guys we all know, Tommy White, Gage Jump, Luke Coleman, like after those guys come off the board, don't be surprised if Christian Little is the next guy off the board in the draft after those guys, because of all the reasons I just mentioned. He's going to be a senior sign, so a team that maybe is looking to save a little money, but also get a prospect that is an amazing prospect at 20 years old with the experience he has and the body and the ability. Yeah, Little's going to be, he might be the next guy off the board from this team. Okay. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. You're thinking of buying land? You call First South Farm Credit. That's just what you do. That's because that's what they've done since 1916. They help Louisianians buy land. By the way, not just in Louisiana. They are licensed to help you buy land, to finance land anywhere in the country, the contiguous 48. So if you want to buy hunting property in Mississippi or Texas, or you want to buy a ranch in Wyoming, they can help you finance that land. It's First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Of course, farmers, everyone in agriculture in our state knows about First South Farm Credit. But what you may not know is you're looking to buy that 20 acres to build your family's dream home. First South Farm Credit specializes. You want that hunting property, that recreational property? First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. All right, it's after further review. Mincy's here in about 15 minutes from right now. We'll do our regional picks. Muse, I had another winning. I know I had another winning week last week. I think I was 2-1. Do you know how you did?
I'm pretty sure I went 0-3.
Paul, you got it up.
Tough luck losses in there.
Can I see that real quick? Let's see. By the way, Otter owes me dinner as well. Remember, we all went head-to-head on Florida and Nebraska. All you chumps all took Nebraska. And I was like, you think Nebraska's seen anything like Florida in the Big Ten? Absolutely not. And so I had Florida, routed you. Otter was laughing at me, bet me dinner. Well, guess what? Now he owes me dinner, and I am not a cheap date. I mean, I order expensive steaks and drink expensive wine and cocktails, and I'm getting dessert too.
I think Otter's good with that. Otter's not a cheap date either.
Otter, no doubt. Believe me, I've been plenty. You have it, Paulie? Oh God, we're so late. Let's pull it up if you have the graphic. I'm curious.
I did go 0-3.
You so the Mincy and Scone both 2-1. So your boy is 29-1 on the year.
That's good.
Muse 14-16, Mincy 16-17. While you two losers are sub 500, I could just mail it in the next 2 weeks and still beat you chumps.
I'd be in the tournament. I'd make the NCAA tournament at 14-16. It's good stuff. Get in there, get hot, make a run.
Right year you might host. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, we're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Y'all get to the website, get to Facebook, Instagram, check out their social media. I tell you all the time over at Rouse's, they have their weekly ad. So if you're making groceries and you're buying on a budget, or you just want to be sensible about what you spend, you can certainly do it at Rouse's. They have a really cool thing. Their dollar stretcher, as they call it. It's their large packs that help you save money and provide convenience. So you can check that out. Again, go to Rouse's.com or go to their Facebook page, and you'll see it right there, the post that has all the items, like USDA Prime T-bone steak for $9.99 a pound. It's incredible. You're saving $10 a pound. That's amazing. You can save up to $1 a pound on Sanderson Farm chicken wings, $2.99 a pound. Strawberries, $2.97 for their 2-pound containers. Check them out over at Rouse's. They're just the best, and they source locally every time they can. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge is excited to partner with our sister station, Eagle 98.1, on a rare opportunity for local bands in our area to be the featured act for Kenny Wayne Shepherd's July 13th show at the River Center. We're looking for 5 Louisiana bands to compete at a special Battle of the Bands on June 21st at the Texas Club. To submit an entry to take part with a sample of your band's sound and get the details. That is very wordy. And get the details. Visit 1045ESPNBatonRouge.com. The entry deadline is June 12th.
We have talked for a while now about Saints offseason predictions. You know how I feel. I don't think it's going to be a great season for New Orleans. I think they're going to miss the playoffs, and I think Dennis Allen's getting fired. And I tell you candidly, every time we see a prediction, some type of predictive model pop up, we're going to talk about it because it's either going to validate, confirm, or disconfirm my and other people's opinions about this team or Derek Carr. So if it's tiered rankings that are subjective, if it is objective data like FPI or something like that, Pro Football Focus, we're going to talk about it. And I'm just presenting information. It's not that I'm only presenting things that support my opinion. If things counter my opinion, I'm going to share it with you as well. It's just to have all of this out there on the table as this season begins. Well, count this one as one that is dramatically in contrast to my opinion. So there is an organization, SIS, that puts out a prediction model. And this is all statistics. And the 3 guys that operate it are Alex Vigderman, Bryce Rossler, and James Weaver. Now, do we have that, by the way, from their podcast that I sent you? Oh, okay, no worries. Okay. They discussed this on on their podcast, which is Off the Charts Football Podcast. They put out, so this effectively is a tool that they use for handicapping. Again, this isn't all pointing back to gambling. I'm not trying to make this a gambling segment, but effectively know that when odds makers put out their odds, they have some type of formula they use to set the number, to set the win totals, the lines, the numbers, all of that stuff. They have a predictive measure, a predictive formula, and that's how you get the numbers. And it's obviously very accurate. So this group of research analysts did the same thing. And they have their model that they put out there that's a predictive measure, and it helps them know whether they agree with Vegas, disagree with Vegas, so how to spend their money. So how to bet their money. That's the purpose of this. But again, it's an objective, data-driven metric that people who are gambling money, wagering money, their own money, are using to determine what to bet on. Okay, so that gives it, I think, even more credence because, you're betting your money. So DraftKings and the other sports books have the Saints win total for 2024 over under 7.5. Okay, that's the over under that we're seeing, consensus at sports books. The SIS model, after they crunched all their numbers, spreads, totals, team totals, money, everything, after they crunched all their numbers about players and schedules and everything, SIS is predicting for the New Orleans Saints in 2024 10.7 wins. Basically, almost 11. 10 or 11 wins. For the 2024 season, the differential with their model's win total predictions, the biggest differential is the Raiders and the Saints. The Raiders are projected to win 6.5 over under. This model has them at 10.4. That's a variance of plus 3.9. The Saints are at plus 3.2. The Raiders and the Saints, this model likes the most relative to what their number is in Las Vegas. Now, as I scroll through this, the SIS model has 17 teams. They projected this number for all 32 teams. On the opposite end of the spectrum, by the way, are the Philadelphia Eagles. They say the Eagles, whose projected win total is 10.5, they have the Eagles at 6.8, so minus 3.7. The Commanders, by the way, they have as the second. The Commanders over under 6.5, they have them at 3.2. So super down on the Eagles. High on the Raiders and the Saints, interestingly enough. I'm not going to argue against this model. It's objective data, and time will tell if it proves to be accurate. But what also is interesting is when I saw the number that they had 17 teams they projected over their number, I'm like, that feels excessive. Like maybe their metrics are skewing way too much to the positive. Well, if you go look at last season's NFL win totals based on what the preseason projections were and where they finished, last year in the NFL, 13 teams went over their number. In the AFC, Buffalo, Miami, the Texans, and the Texans were a huge one. Their projected over-under was 6.5. They won 10 games. The Colts were projected 6.5. They won 9 games. So you do see variance. The Ravens were projected 10.5. They won 13. So you do see a variance. Steelers, Browns, Raiders, all over their win total in the AFC. And then in the NFC, the teams that went over their projected win total, Dallas was over. The Bucks were projected at 6.5. They won 9 games. The Packers, the Lions were projected at 9.5. They won 12, so they went plus 3.5. The Niners, Rams, who, by the way, the Rams preseason projection was 6.5. They went to 10, and the Seahawks. So in all, last year, 13 teams went over the number. I'm not saying that I believe the Saints are going to go 10-7 this year or 11-6. I feel like I do about this team. And what I've seen and what I know about this roster kind of has me believe that. No differently. But for the first time, we've seen a predictive model that really likes this New Orleans Saints team. And if you're looking for a reason to be optimistic, the SIS prediction model might have just given you the reason to. Now, is Derek Carr going to play better? Is this young offensive line going to protect him? Is the defense that's aging going to continue to play at a high level? All those things will be answered throughout the season. And we can also look at the Saints schedule like we've talked about, which is, based on opponents' win-loss record from a year ago, tied with Atlanta for the easiest schedule in the NFL. So maybe there's reason to believe that this metric, this data, isn't so crazy after all. Just again, not just looking at things that confirm my opinion. If I see something to the contrary, I'll share it. This is an exciting thing. If you're buying, they're certainly selling. All right, it's after further review. We're going to break. Mincy's not been with us for Fridays all during baseball season. We've done our record, or our three best bets for the baseball weekend. I'm crushing both of them, but just I guess for the sake of continuing on, because the first game tomorrow is at 11 a.m. So we'll make our picks with Mincy, Kendall Rogers in 30 minutes from right now as well. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. They still got full greenhouses, man. If, as the spring came and went and you didn't get out in that garden and just plant something, but you think the time is now, maybe you got a summertime party coming up, maybe with the kids out of school, you're going to make them get to work. Get on by any of the 4 locations of Clegg's Nursery. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. My goodness, they've just got full greenhouses with dozens of beautiful options to choose from, with different flowers and plants and trees and shrubs arriving daily over at Clegg's Nursery. So you go to their social media, you could see all the different variety that they have. And if it's not just flowers and plants and trees and shrubs and all this sort of stuff as well, maybe you need mulch, bag or bulk. If you need soil, bag or bulk, they got it over at Clegg's Nursery. They got beautiful trees, like fruit trees as well. Get on by today and see our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, all baseball season long, Mintzy's joined us. We've given our picks, our best bets for the weekend, and I'm kind of lapping the field. Paul, you want to throw up the graphic again? I was 2-1 last week. The one loss I was Vanderbilt, and I got boat raced by Coastal. But I took you two to the woodshed with the Gators against Nebraska Otter as well. I just took on all comers. You know that gif where the guy's like the one guy with the sword in the Army stampeding? Yeah. That's how it felt. You know what? I slayed you all. So on the year, 29-1 for Scone. Muse 14-16. Mintzy 16-17. Mintzy, what's up, man?
Doing good, man. Just obviously a lot of the interest for the tournament fell with the Tigers on that heartbreaker on Monday, but we still got college baseball postseason still awesome, and 8 super regionals this weekend, and I'm excited to still watch some baseball.
How do you want to do our picks here? Because there's only 8 games. The only lines we have are for the first games of the series, right? Or we could pick the super regional winners. I mean, what did you have a thought on that?
I kind of want to do the super regional winners. I feel like that almost would be kind of more fun.
Okay. All right, let's roll. Hit it, Muse.
It's time to cash some tickets. Let's preview the college baseball weekend with Ben Mintz and Barstool Sports, presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook.
All right, I'm going to make an executive decision. How about we do either? You can either pick, so 3 for each of us. You can either pick a game on Friday, or you can pick the super regional winner. Is that fair? And by the way, of our snake draft, who's still alive? I know I have A&M. Mintzy's got Tennessee. Muse, are any of yours still alive?
Clemson and Kentucky.
And
I've got NC State still alive, and remember that was my big future going in. I've got them 35-1 to win the title. That was my big one going into this tournament.
I can't remember. I should have. Paul, do you remember who they were?
I know you had Wake Forest.
I know I had Wake.
I know you had Oklahoma State too, man.
Okie State was my other one. Yeah.
So A&M's your.
A&M is my last standing hope. But as I said, I was not picking LSU or Tennessee because we haven't had a back-to-back national title in college baseball since 2011, and we haven't had a 1 seed win the thing since 1999. So I avoided LSU and Tennessee. But Mintzy's got 2 left. You got 2 left as well, and I've got 1. I've got A&M. Watch the Aggies go win it. Wouldn't it be just fitting from my year the way I've had the season I've had betting on all this stuff?
Yeah, but that would stink.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not. Mintzy, are you a cheer for the conference guy?
No, absolutely not.
Me either.
I'm a cheer for wherever my money is kind of guy.
There we go.
That's a good way to put it. I'm a cheer for whatever best helps LSU kind of guy as well. Like, if A&M or Tennessee were to go win a national championship, that doesn't help LSU in any way whatsoever. If anything, that's like no. I mean, Mintzy noticed, but like Ole Miss winning the championship, Mississippi State, that was always something that you had over those schools. They win a championship. Now a coach can go recruit and flash the ring and the trophy. So no, I do not want Tony Vitello or Jim Schlossnagle to win a championship this year, or Nick Mingione. No, I'm not. I'm not going for the SEC. All right, Muse, you want to start us today?
Sure, yeah. I'll start today. I will do an individual game to start, and I will go actually to Lexington, Kentucky, and I will take Oregon State to win game number 1 of that even money. I like the Beavs there, man.
Okay, Mintzy.
I'm going to go with the regional. I'm riding that North Carolina State Wolfpack thing. They're plus 120, so Georgia's not a heavy favorite. I know Georgia can really hit, but I think NC State's a more complete team, and they played a really tough schedule. I think they're going to go get it done.
My first game, you and I are going head-to-head because I'm taking Kentucky to win their Super Regional opener, minus 130 on the money line. So I do think the Cats get game 1 there, and I do think Kentucky's going to win that Super Regional as well. Muse, what's game 2?
Game number 2, I'm going to once again do an individual Super Regional game. I'm going to kind of piggyback on Mintzy. I like North Carolina State plus $1.20 on the road in Athens on a Saturday to win game number 1 there.
All right, NC State plus 120. Mintzy, what's your second one?
My second one, I'm going a game, and I usually never take the big. Actually, do we have a rule that we can't take big favorites still? I remember we kind of did.
I think
that,
last
right?
week we said like nothing over. I think minus 250.
All right, well then that's screw. Okay, then we're going a different direction.
What were you going to go with?
I was going to go A. I just can't see A&M with their ace losing against Oregon, but it's minus 345. But I just don't. Oregon's coming from the Northwest, playing in the hot Texas heat in a 1 p.m. game. A&M's lineup's loaded. They're really tough in that park, and I don't think Oregon has a chance in hell in that Super.
Okay. So wait, are you rolling with that? I mean, it's minus 3.
Yeah, it's 345 though, and like they don't have the run. Like I'm gonna take A&M minus 2.5 runs or whatever, but that's not out yet.
Okay.
So if I have to do something else,
roll with that. Go with the run line. So whenever that's fine. So you want to take A&M on the run line, which will be we're assuming it'll be 2.5 when it comes, but we'll look at the run line. We'll say it'll be A&M on the run line.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. This one may surprise y'all a little bit. I think Florida's going to get Clemson in the opener. I'm going to take Florida plus 135 to win that game. You know what? Can I take the run line? If we can take the run line, maybe. Nah, give me. I think Florida's going to win. I'll take Florida to win the game 1 of that Super Regional. I'll take Florida on the money line plus 135.
All right, so we're going to go head-to-head, and I'm going to stick with my snake draft. I'm going to take Clemson to win that Super Regional minus $1.65. It's better odds than the minus 175 in game number 1, so we'll just not by much, but it's a little bit better price. So we'll go Clemson to win the Super.
All right. Mintzy, what's your third play?
My third play is I'm going against Matt here, but it's just we've got a lot of teams, Kentucky and Clemson, especially been 2 of them. I know those 2 teams that, really good seasons, but like don't have the Omaha pedigree as much. And Oregon State's got it, and I think Oregon State. I've got them to win. I'm going to take them at even money to win that Super.
All right, Oregon State to win the Super Regional. Okay. I got a little thrown off there. Sorry, I lost my place. I need to go back. I totally lost my place there. I don't know, man. I'm throwing darts because we did put in the rule about not going anything above minus 250. I don't know, man. Give me. Isn't this awesome that I'm beating y'all so badly and all I'm doing is just like guessing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
I
it's
think
awesome.
you know more. I think you've watched more college baseball and followed it more than you're giving yourself credit for, in my opinion.
Can I take... Really should have given a little more thought to this. Wait, so I've got Kentucky on the money line, Florida on the money line. How about if I take... Oh, you took A&M on the run line already. Gosh, dog. Give me Tennessee on the run line.
Okay.
Give me Tennessee on the run line.
It's going to be like 4.5.
Don't care. Against Evansville? Yeah, I mean, that is going to... Everything about that just screams it will overwhelm Evansville. In Tennessee's, they got a super regional pedigree, an Omaha pedigree. Yeah, give me... Whatever. I don't care what the run line is. Give me Tennessee on the run line. There you go. All right.
Tennessee's minus 1,400 to win the region.
It's Mincy's team, bro.
That's so good.
Big Vol guy over there.
Oh.
Mincy's a VFL. All right, so Musso has Oregon State on the money line. NC State. No, I'm sorry, Oregon State to win the regional.
No. Oregon State to win game 1. Mincy's got to win the regional. So I have Oregon State to win game 1 at even money. Then I have North Carolina State to win game 1 plus $1.20, and then Clemson to win their Super Regional.
All right. Mincy has NC State winning the Super Regional, A&M on the run line tomorrow, and then Oregon State to win the Super Regional. I've got Kentucky on the money line tomorrow, Florida on the money line tomorrow, and Tennessee on the run line. So I'm going with 3 SEC teams. What do I know? All right, we'll see how it goes with the Super Regional ball. Mincy, who do you I'm sure you'll be locked into it, man. Who do you think are the 8 teams that are in Omaha?
All right. Run through Florida State, North Carolina, Virginia, NC State, Tennessee, A&M, and the other supers. I think Florida may get Clemson. I can tell you think that. I think that very easily that's very, very possible. And I'm forgetting one super because I'm not looking at it. But
it's Oregon State, Kentucky.
Oregon State. I like Oregon State.
All right. Mintzy, what's going on this weekend, man?
Man, I'm honestly going to just sit around by my pool, enjoy the Chicago weather, and watch these super regionals. I had the huge South week with the SEC tourney and that Memphis Panic, and then last weekend I had a huge birthday weekend, and so it's time to hit the chill. It's time to hit the chill button this weekend and take it pretty easy.
All right, man. Well, enjoy the baseball. We'll catch up with you next week, man. We appreciate it. Good luck.
Heck yeah, man. Good luck. Thank you. As always, DraftKings.
DraftKings been great partners, I know, for Barstool and for us. We appreciate it. All right. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, with locations all over the state of Louisiana. As a matter of fact, I was looking at Michelli's LinkedIn yesterday, and they've just got a new mobile unit as well, which is pretty cool. So I tell you all the time, even if you have a device that you don't want to leave your facility or can't leave your facility, they've got their mobile calibration units where they can come to you and calibrate your device. I mean, there it is right there, the Sprinter van that they have. They've been set up, and so you can go see on any of the social media, their LinkedIn, their Facebook, you can see their mobile unit and how set up it is. It's awesome how, like, the Sprinter van, the whole thing is decked out on the interior. It actually looks like the inside of a van in one of those spy movies where, like, you're on a stakeout. That's what it looks like with all the technology in it. It's a Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, it's after further review. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros coming up to wrap up hour number 2. Kendall Rogers in about 15 minutes. We'll get a professional's thoughts on the Super Regionals instead of me, Muse, and Mincy just guessing on win totals. But also coming up in hour number 3, we will talk a little bit more about the Saints' schedule, in particular, a breakdown of the quarterbacks they're going to face. And also, Aiden Moffitt hit the portal yesterday, kind of late in our show as we were going off the air. So I want to talk a little bit about Aiden Moffitt and LSU's pitching, how it looks like it might shape up next year. All that's coming up in hour number 3. So we got a ton to do. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries. Action, INC.com. Action Industries Incorporated. Been around since 1982, y'all. So if you work in a plant, Action Industries services the petrochemical refinery markets, all those plants up and down the river that means so much to our state's economy, and Action has done amazing work for them for more than 42 years. Some of the biggest companies in the world have trusted Action Industries for 4 decades. And something else to keep in mind, maybe you have a mega project going on. If you're a maintenance manager, turnaround coordinator, you have one of these mega projects, 1,000+ employees. Action Industries can help supplement those mega projects if you need more workers, if you need help. So you reach out to Action Industries for that. Their fabrication shop services as well. Exchanger tube cleaning. It's Action Industries. Check them out online. Check out their LinkedIn as well and get in touch with them today. Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Kendall Rogers in about 10 minutes. Right now, though, Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, let's begin with Josh Smith. 3 for 4 last night in an absolute moonshot as well. I mean, he gave a little rock on that too with the pimp job. Part of a 3-hit night, 2 RBI, the solo homer, and then he had an RBI single later in the game. Also would score a run naturally on the home run. Josh Smith, 290. Is it time to put him on All-Star watch as well, potentially here early in June? I mean,
no.
No? Okay. Paul Skeens, we've been talking about it all day. Went up against the Los Angeles Dodgers yesterday. 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, including a 3-pitch strikeout of Shohei Ohtani. Did give up a couple of homers, including one to Shohei Ohtani. 3 earned runs, but he got his 3rd win of his career. Now 3-0 on the season is Paul Skeens. Jake Fraley last night, a little 1 for 3 action. 2 runs scored, though. He's all over the base paths. Is Fraley. The one was a single, 2 walks, came around to score twice as well. Minor League Baseball, get you caught up on. Alex Lang, we told you a couple weeks ago that he was sent down to AAA with the Toledo Mud Hens. Got in the game last night, 1 shutout inning and a strikeout. Made the adjustments he's needed so far down in AAA. The ERA 1.80. Hopefully Langer is back in the majors sooner rather than later.
Come on, babe.
The Memorial Tournament this weekend. They're on the PGA Tour. Getting on our way today. Sam Burns, tied for 19th, 1 under 71 today. That does have him a cool 5 shots off the lead, so we will have some ground to make up here tomorrow if he wants to stick around for the weekend. But nonetheless, really nice day. And then on the Corn Ferry Tour, Curtis Thompson still out on the course. Still out on the course through 15, so he's got a little time to make it up right now. But 6 over par right now for Curtis. But a few holes left. Can get it going. Just round 1. Got some time. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Father's Day is almost here for our ladies. Maybe you want a beautiful timepiece for your husband, for the dad in your life. or if you're buying for your dad, tons of great gift options at Lee Michaels. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. And we should always remember, of course, gentlemen, if you want to thrill her, a birthday, an anniversary, any special occasion, or just because, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Remember, you can exchange your old ring, your old diamond, for an upgrade. You want to upgrade? Trade in your old diamond. Put it toward the purchase of a new diamond. Great for an anniversary gift. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all. It's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Game 1 of the NBA Finals is tonight. Very much looking forward to it. It'll be interesting to see Kyrie going against his former team. I think the Porzingis angle of this as well, his health as he's been out here. But, for Drew Holiday, great defensive player throughout his career. He's got the challenge of trying to stop Kyrie Irving in these NBA Finals. Here was the former Pelican, Drew Holiday.
I think it's just familiarity. I think knowing each other's game, doing your best to stay in front of them, trying to take away the things that'll probably hurt you the most, and then probably most of all, having help. Him being able to see multiple guys on the court, making it look like it's crowded, making shots as tough as possible, even though he's a tough shot maker.
Drew Holiday, again, as the Celtics host Dallas in Game 1 tonight of the NBA Finals. Very much looking forward to that tonight. The Celtics are a 6.5-point home favorite here in Game 1. I think we gave our picks earlier. I like Boston in 7. Paul likes Boston in 6. Muse is rolling with the Mavericks in 6. All right, Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball joins us to kick off hour number 3 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Evermore. You hear me say it all the time. Water is water, right? Not when it's Evermore. Evermore is natural artesian water. So much, recently in recent years, people have started to become educated on the importance of being alkaline. Well, this is a rare alkaline source with a pH 8.8 to 9.1. There's people, if you want to go to Google, you can read Google reviews. You can go to Facebook pages and read. There are people who are acid sufferers. They have heartburn, indigestion, reflux. Again, they're not making any medical claims, but you can go read reviews from people who have said, I've started drinking Evermore, and it's helped with my acid reflux, with my heartburn, my indigestion. If you want a healthier lifestyle, you want a better option, you want hydration, maybe have a few too many adult beverages while watching Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight. You want to hydrate better and faster? Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. Evermore.com. It's Evermore, available at great local retailers.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tula at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. After a lengthy wait, the NBA Finals tip off tonight in Boston. The Celtics host the Mavericks. Boston hasn't played in 10 days. Dallas won the Western Conference title a week ago. Our coverage of Game 1 starts at 7:30 Eastern here on ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern on ABC. Will two-time national championship UConn coach Dan Hurley leave for the NBA? ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Lakers are trying to make that happen.
These talks between the Lakers and Dan Hurley have traction. They are going to escalate in the coming days, and Dan Hurley is going to be presented with a massive long-term offer to leave the back-to-back national championships, pass on its chance for a three-peat, to go to the Lakers.
Adrian Wojnarowski on Get Up. Hurley told his UConn players today the Lakers had contacted him and that he is listening. Wideout Mecole Hardman will re-sign with the Super Bowl champion Chiefs on a one-year deal.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tompley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. We will talk a little bit about Aiden Moffitt jumping in the portal. Take a look at what LSU's pitching situation for next year will look like. Some more from Saints OTAs, including a look at the quarterbacks the Saints are going to face coming up this year as well. So a lot to do here in hour number 3. Otter will be here for Otter Locks. So glad to have you aboard. And all season, we've been glad to be joined by Kendall Rogers on Thursdays, previewing the baseball weekends. And LSU has been eliminated, which is a total bummer. And I understand there's a lot of people who might disengage a bit. But the field for the Super Regionals is set. Should be a really good weekend of baseball. Kendall's with us now. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. Have you guys caught your breath from the game the other night? That was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Such a bummer, man. I mean, it felt like you did the heavy lifting on Sunday. And, to have Gage jump on the mound 3 outs away from advancing to a home Super Regional against West Virginia. I mean, I'd take that situation 100 times out of 100, man. It just didn't work out for the good guys.
That's the frustrating part. Yeah, I mean, that's the frustrating part is it was right there, you know. I mean, not to discount Randy Mazey in West Virginia, but, like, I think I kind of like LSU's chances at home against West Virginia if they're hosting that Super. But, you know, I thought as that game went on, and, you know, Will Helmers, of all guys, was out there just making big pitch after big pitch. I remember I was sitting there watching the game with my wife, and I'm sitting there telling her, like, man, there's no way LSU's going to lose this game with like Helmers of all people just shutting down a premier lineup. And give North Carolina credit. It is like next to impossible to beat LSU in that situation. And for those guys not to flinch, for those guys not to panic, I thought it was really impressive. But there's some little things in that game that I just feel like LSU season in a nutshell in that game a little bit. You had the misplayed ball in the outfield. Mm-hmm. You had the play where Galler scored from second base on a play where LSU is playing far too deep. In that situation, the ball goes over your head. The game's over. They take the lead anyway. So, I don't know why he was playing so far back in that situation. And so there were some little things in that game that I thought kind of, I look back at and I look at like LSU's first half of the season and go, you know what? Like some of these little things popped up again in that game at the end.
Yeah, man. Defensive positioning has always been sort of a perplexing thing with this team, and it felt like it popped up a lot in that regional where, off the bat you'd think like slow roller to short, and then nobody's there because they were shaded so far. But I don't know, man. You play that game with defensive linemen, like you mentioned the fly ball in the outfield in the ninth. Just a bummer, man, that it went the way that it did.
Yeah, I'm just one of those people. Like, and again, that coaching staff has a national championship. I write about college baseball, so they have a little bit more cachet than I do. But in that situation, I'd rather somebody hit a ball off the wall and take the lead on me than for them to score on a blooper.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Hey, of the 16 teams left, if you had to pick, like, who do you like the best in this field that's remaining to go to Omaha and win it?
I go with Tennessee and A&M. I feel really good about Tennessee. I thought the way they played last weekend in that regional was very businesslike. There was not a moment in time where you thought that they were going to lose. They were a machine in that regional. I love the way they're playing. They look laser focused. A&M's a little different than Tennessee. Texas, and kind of like LSU in the postseason. Texas, had one bullet to play against A&M, and they gave out A&M all they could handle. But you know what? A&M won that game, and guess what happened? This didn't shock me. The next day, they played the Cajuns, and it's like the A&M that we saw for 4 months of the year showed up against the Cajuns. So I kind of think that game a little bit got them back on track. So I kind of look at A&M and Tennessee as the two teams, and frankly, that's who I have playing for the national championship, with Tennessee winning.
The thing that I always talk about, I know you do as well, but it's just, I can't get past the fact that since 1999, we haven't had a 1 seed win this thing. And
it's crazy.
2 years ago, Tennessee was maybe the best team in a regular season we've ever seen. I don't think that's hyperbole. They're in the conversation, and they didn't get out of their own super regional against Notre Dame. So I don't know, man. It's hard for me to go with Tennessee just because they have history against them in a big, big way. So,
yeah, I will say this: Notre Dame that year. They had a big leaguer. They had a big leaguer, Nico Cavadas, as a four-hole hitter. They had like 7 seniors in their lineup. Evansville's solid, but they're not that Notre Dame team.
No doubt.
The Notre Dame team should have been hosting.
They're gonna. Tennessee's gonna get there. I don't know if they win it when they're there. Anybody this weekend you think on upset alert?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of two teams for me. I got a little sneaky suspicion on Kentucky and Florida State. I know it's hard to go against Florida State given Jamie Arnold and just the dominance he's had on the mound. But I tell you what I loved what I saw from UConn over the weekend. Jim Penders being a Northeastern school, 6 straight regionals, 3 supers. That's incredibly impressive. And they just dominated OU over the weekend in that regional. They played awesome defense. They hit the long ball. They pitched at a really high level. So I think UConn could upset that series. The other one for me is Kentucky. I know they've been ultra consistent all year long, but playing Oregon State in a super is a little bit like playing LSU in a super. It's like LSU light in the sense that Oregon State is going to be ready. And I just wonder, with that mystique and just kind of their ability to have clutch hits in the postseason, if, Kentucky and teams I kind of feel like been playing over their skis all year long, if that finally catches up to them a little bit.
You can read all the regional the super regional previews over at D1 Baseball. Kendall Rogers is with us, D1Baseball.com, D1Baseball.com. Of course, on Twitter, at Kendall Rogers. While I got you here, I do want to ask about Mark Kingston and what you could tell us there, because what happens in South Carolina, it is certainly relevant to the entire SEC, but I am curious also, Kendall, how good of a job is South Carolina right now?
I think South Carolina, to me, is near the bottom of the SEC. I'll be very honest with you. It's one of those places, they don't have a lot of money to spend. Kingston is making, $725. They don't have $1.5 million to spend on a baseball coach like Tennessee, LSU, A&M, Arkansas, et cetera. Their facility is really nice, but it's a very, very demanding fan base for a program that has not done anything since they won the 2 national championships. And so I think it's a little bit of a difficult job. Back when Georgia, and Tennessee were struggling, go figure that South Carolina was really good. Now that Georgia, especially Tennessee, but now that Tennessee's rolling and Georgia has got it going, I find that pathway for South Carolina a little bit more difficult. Then you throw Clemson and North Carolina in the equation. So I think it's a very difficult job. And, my thing is this, if you fire a coach who got to Super 2 years ago, got to regional this year, you better have a really good replacement. And so far, from what I'm hearing, it almost seems like they may end up promoting their assistant, Imani Lee. Of course, it was on Ray Tanner's championship staff. It was a former Clemson coach who got fired because he couldn't win a regional. They may end up hiring him. So just a very bizarre situation all the way around with South Carolina.
What do you think happens, or do you know what happens with that roster? I know a lot of people obviously looking at guys like Ethan Petrie.
Yeah.
Does he hit the portal? And if he does, LSU would probably be lining up with bags of cash to say, come play here for a year.
Yeah, it sounds like Petrie's going to stay put. Actions speak louder than words.
Sure.
And I think it all kind of depends on who they hire. I think if they promote Monty, I think Petrie stays. I think if they go with somebody else, I think it's, anybody's game there with Petrie. So he is the main one. He is the bell cow, and we'll see if he stays put.
Would you anticipate, Kendall, any other movement on the coaching front across college baseball? Or have those waves settled?
If I were LSU fans, I'd keep a very close eye on Texas.
I was wondering
because
about.
I don't think they're getting Jim Schlossnagle, and the next option will be Jay Johnson. I don't think they'll get Jay either, but I can promise you they're going to try.
So you think Pierce is going to be fired?
His answer over the weekend in College Station was not real. I didn't think it was real positive. I thought it was kind of telling a little bit. And everything I'm hearing around there is that they're more than likely going to make a change. And I can tell you, and I know how Chris Del Conte works. He will want to make a splash. He does not want them to repeat what happened when they hired Pierce. And I think he's going to try to make a big splash. I don't think he's going to get Jim. Jim's his pal. He's got it rolling at A&M. They're going to be really good again next year. They got pretty much everybody but Montgomery back. Jay Johnson's a guy that, at least from their perspective, would make a lot of sense. I don't think he's going anywhere. I'd be shocked if he went anywhere, but they're going to shoot their shot if that job comes open.
Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. It's always interesting this time of year, obviously for the coaching search, but also with the portal wide open, and we're steamrolling toward a College World Series, which should be a great field, a great weekend of baseball. Wish the Tigers were playing, man. But hey, we appreciate you giving us the time all year, man. Our audience loves
you got
chats,
it, buddy.
and we appreciate
I have the feeling the Tigers will be back next year.
I think they'll be okay, but still not fun to be at the beginning of June and not having the lights on over at the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's the Rocco's is very disappointed right now.
Oh, no doubt. Broncos, I think all of the patrons there in Omaha are a little disappointed that there won't be a purple and gold monsoon here in a couple weeks, but maybe next year. All right, Kendall, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, great talking to you.
You as well. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. A couple things to remind you about. At Parrish, we are a certified, fortified roofing company. Fortified roofs are, earlier this week, we learned that the state of Louisiana is expanding their fortified roof program by another $15.5 million. A fortified roof is so important because with a fortified roof, it prevents or limits water intrusion. Look, you could still have damage to your roof, but with the extra layers of protection, by fortifying your roof, you're going to prevent water intrusion, which could cause damage to sheetrock and walls and the belongings in your home. You got to learn more about a fortified roof. And maybe the most important thing, if you install a fortified roof, you could save as much as 50% on your homeowner's insurance premium. So learn more about a fortified roof. We can help. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. That's me, that's Terrio, that's Richard Tilley, it's Joe Morales, it's our whole team. Trent, who we've added as well. Awesome people. Our same crews as we've had for the last 3.5 years. Our same phone number, 364-1007, 364-1007. For Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. That's parishbuilt.com. Okay, it's after further review. Speaking of the of transfer portal, Aiden Moffett hit the portal. I do want to just kind of go through a little bit of an overview of the LSU roster with 4 players now hitting the portal. Who else might we expect to hear decisions from soon? We'll get to that here shortly. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. Think real estate. Think the best. Think Darren James. Of course, you can go to agent225.com, agent225.com. You know, one of the most impressive things about Darren always is how he uses his social media, not to sell necessarily, but to give you advice. Like if you're investing in real estate, Darren posted this earlier, it's about understanding the long-term value. The gem of luxury real estate lies in its enduring appeal. Look for properties and locations that have stood the test of time or are in emerging areas poised for growth. That's something that we did when we bought our first home. When Darren helped us buy that home, we bought a home in an area that we knew was emerging. And so whenever we were looking to grow our family and probably sell and move into something bigger, that home was going to continue increasing in value. It's great advice. Part of the reason why Darren James, number 14 in America on the Wall Street Journal's Real Trends list. It's Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Well, you can't accuse me of only playing one side. Earlier, I shared with you a computer model that's projected the New Orleans Saints to win 10.7 games this year. Vegas has them at 7.5. So whether it supports my feeling about the Saints or not, if it's relevant, we're going to talk about it. Now, that is an objective, data-driven metric. This, what I have in my hand right here, is subjective. CBS Sports looked at all the projected win totals and gave best bets as far as over-unders. And the New Orleans Saints, over-under at 7.5. CBS Sports projects them to go under their total, a projected total of 7.5. You can check that out at CBSSports.com. So under the total is the pick. They note that the Saints feel like a team floating in the ether. Dennis Allen, absolutely on the hot seat. I'm reading here. They underperformed their win expectancy last year. They note that Kamara has averaged less than 4 yards per carry and under 60 receptions per season over the last 3 years. They do note that the receiving core is fun to watch, but ultimately the Saints, they project under 7.5. A huge benefit to the New Orleans Saints a year ago, and a big part of the reason why they went 9-8 are the quarterbacks they played. You might remember, we did a segment on this show and clipped it, and it went viral. I mean, it had over 2.5 million views on Instagram. And I was asking Muse to list the best quarterbacks in football, and everyone he mentioned, I kept saying, don't play them, don't play him. The Saints didn't play Mahomes or Burrow or Josh Allen or Justin Herbert. The best quarterbacks in the NFL, the Saints dodged them last year. And you even got luckier in the fact that not only did you not face Mahomes or Allen or Herbert or Hurts or Lamar Jackson, when you played Minnesota, Kirk Cousins was injured. You got Josh Dobbs and lost. When you faced the Giants, you didn't face Daniel Jones. You faced Tommy Cutlets. When you faced Chicago, you didn't have to face Justin Fields. You got Tyson Bagent, whatever his name is. I had to write it down because I can never remember that guy's name. Exactly the point. So that was a huge benefit for the New Orleans Saints a year ago. Not only who they played, but who they didn't have to play at quarterback. Have you looked at, we've looked at the Saints schedule. And the Saints, by opponents' win-loss record from a year ago, are tied with Atlanta for the easiest schedule in the NFL. And in part, that's the reality because you play in the NFC South. So you get 6 games against the NFC South and everybody stinks. You get 2 games against Carolina, which was the worst team in the NFL. Yes, that of course is going to skew things a bit. But as we run through the list like we did last year of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, have you looked at the list of quarterbacks the Saints do face this year? Here's your list. These are the quarterbacks you face this year. Bryce Young, that's a breather. Dak, Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes, a reinvigorated Baker Mayfield. You do get Stidham or Nix, whoever Denver's going to bring in here, and you better win that damn game with Sean Payton coming back with those 2 chumps. Justin Herbert, Bryce Young again. Kirk Cousins again. Deshaun Watson, who, I don't know what's going to happen there in Cleveland, him coming off an injury, but they paid him $230 million for a reason. Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl winner. Now, you get a break in the final 5 weeks because you go Daniel Jones, Jaden Daniels, rookie. You do have to play Jordan Love at Green Bay. Then it's the combination of O'Connell and Minshew with the Raiders, and then you get Baker Mayfield again. So the last 5, you get a little bit of a breather, except for having to go to Lambeau when it's going to be -8. But by the time you even get there, if you go 4-1 in your last 5, what are you playing for? I mean, after you open up with Carolina, Dak, Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, the Denver duo, Justin Herbert, I mean, you're going to be dead in the water by the time you get to December. So the thing that was a great benefit for you a year ago, the fact that you missed the best quarterbacks in the NFL, this year you have to play Mahomes. You have to play Jalen Hurts. You have to play Justin Herbert. You got to play Cousins twice. You got to play Dak on the road. You got to play Jordan Love in Green Bay. You got to play Matt Stafford. I don't like it, man. So I understand there's some metrics that like the New Orleans Saints, like we went through earlier. But my eyes, what I know, what you all know, tell a very, very different story. For whatever it's worth, ESPN ranked the quarterback rooms in the NFL. They got the Saints quarterback room ranked 22nd in the NFL. Sporting News has the Saints quarterbacks ranked 23rd. No, forgive me, this was last year. So going into last year, NFL.com had the Saints 16th. Pro Football Focus had the Saints 14th. Sporting News had the Saints 23rd last year. Now you're seeing them even lower. ESPN's got them at 22. Could everybody be wrong? Maybe. Probably not. All right, it's after further review. Y'all, I had an incredible experience last night. I just dropped my pen. I left work, went over to Supper Club, and I got to try the new menu items. So there are 7. Supper Club's been open for 2 years. It is an incredible, one-of-a-kind experience, not only in Baton Rouge, but Louisiana, the South, and to be quite frank, the country. And for 2 years, everybody has gone to Supper Club. It's been known as the place you go to celebrate. The ambiance, the vibe is exquisite. It's so much fun to go and have that experience. But the food story is an incredible story to tell. And I've started to tell you a lot of those. Well, they've added 7 new menu items. Really, they've added 5 and modified 2. And last night, I went to Supper Club after I got off here, and I got to sit with Chef Layton, and I got to sample all 7. And I'm going to tell you about each of those in due time. Like, the veal parmesan alone is worth the show. They bring the veal cutlet to you on the plate, and then Chef has a skillet with the cheese and the tomatoes and everything, and layers the cheese over the veal skillet, or over the veal chop right there. So it maintains the crispiness of the fried veal, and then you get the piping hot cheese. It's just an absolutely incredible experience. And then I got to sample this Omi filet, OHMI. It's from Japan. And man, I love steaks. Like, I am a steak snob. When I go to big cities, I always find what are the best steakhouses, and I check them off. This Omi filet that they have at Supper Club now, it's from Japan. The farm is 400 years old, okay? They used to feed this beef to the samurais. They thought it had magical powers 400 years ago. The Emperor of Japan, this is his favorite meal. He eats it all the time. Well, they have this beef at Supper Club. There's like 3 restaurants in America that have it. It's like 2 in New York and Supper Club. Seriously. When I went to go cut into it, they were videoing me do this. When my knife touched the steak, I almost started, I think I probably did start laughing. The texture was almost like, if you get a marshmallow by a campfire and you hold it over the fire and you get the marshmallow, it's like crispy on the outside, but when you touch it, like it's gooey on the inside. That's what this filet felt like. I have literally never eaten any piece of beef like that in my entire life. Look, if you want to go to Supper Club and have a prime filet, a beautiful steak, or a piece of fish, and the braised pork ribs for an appetizer, 2 incredible sides, bottle of wine, some dessert. You can do it for the same price as any other fine dining restaurant in town. You can absolutely do that at Supper Club. But if you want a truly one-of-a-kind experience, and you'll pay for it, but if you want a one-of-a-kind experience, you can only do that in Louisiana at Supper Club, right there on Perkins Road. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. God, I had a good time last night. I think I'm still kind of in a bit of a food coma from yesterday. I mean, I got there at 6:30, and they bring out one item at a time. And so it was almost like I got served 7 courses. So I was there till like 10 o'clock last night, from 6:30 to 10. It was like a 3.5-hour sitting at Supper Club. It was awesome. Incredible night. Supperclubbtr.com for your reservations. All right, it's after further review. Aiden Moffitt jumped in the portal yesterday, LSU pitcher. I do want to sort of assess and take account of the LSU roster and Moffitt going in the portal and what that means, the pitching staff, all that stuff. So we'll get a few thumbnails on that as we continue. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Auto Locks in about 15 minutes. We'll tell you who we're betting on. No doubt Jimmy's going to have a thumbnail preview for Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight. So we'll get to that with Auto Locks here in about 15 minutes from right now. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, it's been my pleasure to introduce you to Derek Duplessis and Duplessis Builders, pools and outdoor living. You want to build a pool at your house? You need Duplessis Builders. I'm telling you, the most impressive part about sitting down with Derek, and we've had lunch, we've sat down, chatted about his business for an hour and learned so much about the way and the process they do things. What's incredible is he uses his engineering background. So Derek Duplessis graduated from LSU in mechanical engineering. He's got a minor in aerospace engineering. Was working, in the plants as an engineer, didn't love the life, and so started this business building pools. But he uses that engineering background throughout the process, so he's building something that is going to last. That's why their workmanship warranty at Duplessis is 10 years. When they spray their gunite, they only use the absolute best. So it comes with a lifetime warranty on their pebble plaster, the mini pebble plaster. It's Duplessis Builders.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Got it. Don't we have another promo we got to read too? I think there's another one up there. Don't we have 3? What you got?
Yeah, it's the voice app thing, Bob. Or actually, I'm sorry, I forgot about Live After 5. We do have Live After 5.
Got it.
Last one this week. You should clock out and rock out with us Friday in downtown Baton Rouge, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., just like normal. It's the last 5 After 5 of the spring, and it's the Bucktown All-Stars this Friday. Live After 5.
Go.
How about it?
If you ain't in Bucktown, you ain't at the real Deanies, baby. Shout out, Buddy D. Rip. 1 of 1 there. Love my Mike D, buddy. My Mike D stories about Buddy D are great. All right, Aiden Moffitt entered the transfer portal on Wednesday. Moffitt, of course, spent 2 years in Baton Rouge. It's disappointing because you look at Moffitt, 6'3", 220, throws 100, and you wish it would have worked out here. The problem is he just didn't ever develop command. He, as a freshman last year, he threw to 4 hitters all year. Didn't record an out. This year, he gave you 17 2/3 innings pitched, but in those 17 2/3, he allowed 18 hits. He allowed more than a hit per inning, and he walked 12. Now, he struck out 21, and you can do that when you throw 98, which is awesome. But he's got to find somewhere where he can go get innings. And look, Jay Johnson even said this right at about the start of SEC play about Aiden Moffitt. So it gives you some context on what they were expecting from Aiden Moffitt this year that never materialized.
Aiden, I told him at the beginning of the year, we needed more strikes, but I'm going to get you in there when I can. I think it's interesting, he may still walk a guy, but he can get them out. He doesn't have to be perfect because the fastball's so great. Then it became land the slider. Okay, you land the slider with the fastball that you have, that you're starting to throw more strikes. Now you're going into SEC games. One of the key players, if not one of the most key players on our team for the rest of the season and moving forward.
I mean, Jay Johnson sometimes can exaggerate. I hear him oftentimes say he's the best player in the country. He's the best pitcher in the country. He's the best at this in the world. Jay's very high on his guys, and I believe that's intentional. But in that moment, he said he was going to be one of the most important guys in the second half of the season. It just didn't materialize for Aiden Moffitt. I will tell you, conversations I've had today, Moffitt has already been offered by Tennessee, Texas A&M, Florida State, Oklahoma, and Arizona State. When you got to do that 6'3", 220 and throws 100, there's going to be a lot of interest in him. And that's 5 really big schools with good programs that have already offered Aiden Moffitt. And 1, 2, 3 of them are in the SEC if you include Oklahoma next year, right? So when you look at LSU, their portal situation right now, 4 players have entered the portal: Austin Rolick, Micah Bucknam, Zeb Ruddle, Aiden Moffitt. So those 4 have entered the portal. And you have a whole bunch of guys that you're just kind of waiting to see. And so when I look at the pitching staff for next year, the guys that you know are gone, right, are ones that we've talked about plenty. Jump, Holman, Hurd, Ulloa, all gone. Feeling on Jump and Holman, sandwich round to early round 2. Hurd's around 4 or 5 guy. Fidel Ulloa, I'm told they're expecting to be a day 3 guy, but he's going to sign. I mean, he throws 96, and he's not going to come back and lose his leverage. So Ulloa would be a day 3 guy. Helmers, Little, Ackenhausen, all out of eligibility, so they're done. Christian Little was here in hour number 2, and it was a great conversation with him. And the interesting thing about Christian Little is because he's a senior and has no leverage, he's going to be a senior sign. And the number I was told is someone will give him between 10 and 50K. That's it. But Christian Little could very well end up being the highest drafted guy from this team after Jump, Holman, and Tommy White. So after those 3, the next guy off the board could very well be Christian Little because he's got tremendous projectability because of his physical ability. He's got 4 years of experience, but he's only 20 years old. I mean, Gavin Guidry, I said this earlier, Gavin Guidry is older than Christian Little. Guidry just finished his sophomore year. Guidry finishes Little finishes 4th year. So you also have youth. It's a big disadvantage when you go back to school and you're 22, 23 years old because now all of a sudden you don't have youth on your side. An organization might be more inclined to take a shot on a guy that's 18, 19, 20 because they can develop him for 2 or 3 seasons and still they have youth to be able to be projectable. So Little has a lot going for him, but he's just not going to be a guy that gets paid a bunch because he lost his leverage. So you kind of look around and you say, all right, well, who else is there? Among the lefties for LSU, you've got Cade Anderson. Griffin Herring is a question right now. Does he sign or does he come back? And if he comes back, they'll have to pay him a little NIL money and give him an opportunity to win a rotation job. Cam Johnson is one we expect to be back, but if he were to go in the portal and look for a different situation, that could happen. Justin Lohr is the guy that probably gets drafted and signs. And then you have Bronzini and Primo from the left side. On the right side, you have all these guys like Cade Woods. Cade Woods was injured all year, so he never pitched. Jaden Newt has been injured. We haven't seen him. Chase Shores we expect to be great next year coming off of injury. And then you got guys like Sam Dutton, who, it's 50-50. I don't know that he's a draftable guy right now. He's not a draftable guy right now. But he's also in a role at LSU where he's not going to get a lot of innings. So does he stay and pitch at LSU? Or does he transfer and go somewhere where he's going to be able to throw more innings? Gavin Guidry, we talked about him. Gavin Guidry loves LSU, and I expect that he'd be back. But what if Gavin Guidry wants to go play shortstop and hit somewhere? It's not going to happen at LSU. Is he okay being a reliever at LSU, or does he want to go try to be a middle infielder and hit? Well, if you want to go get 200 at-bats next year and play in the middle infield every day, you got to go somewhere else. So these are guys that just have decisions to make, and we'll see what they are. But right now, what we know is, Aiden Moffitt is now, there is one of 4 players that have hit the portal, with Rolig, Bucknam, Zeb Ruddle, Aiden Moffitt being the 4 that have already left. And we should expect that next week, early next week, you'll probably start to get a sense of players committing to LSU out of the portal. Maybe early next week is what I would anticipate. So, Jay Johnson already at work, trying to put together the roster for next year. Hopefully a roster that'll get LSU back to the College World Series. All right, y'all. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. It's vacation season, y'all. Man, we look at our work calendar, and whenever people put in for vacation, it shows up on our Outlook calendar, so you know who's here, who's not. And just this time of year, it's every week. There's just different people because summer we all take vacation. If you're hitting the road, make sure you bring your vehicle to Shaw Bills. Oil changes, tire rotations, check engine light on, the brakes are squeaking. You got an issue with your vehicle, take it to Shaw Bills. And, of course, if it's time to buy tires, buy the best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. I always encourage you to go to the website, shawbillstire.com, shawbillstire.com. Hit the promotions tab at the top of the page, and you'll see every promotion. And they do an awesome job of taking the manufacturer's offer and sweetening the pot, so to speak, with their in-house offer to get you the best price possible. They guarantee it. Part of the Charlie's doesn't. Buy tires at Shaw Bills. If you see them advertised somewhere else cheaper, they'll refund you 120% of the difference. It's at Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all. It is after further review. You can always email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Had a really good chat last hour with Christian Little. If you missed it, it's on demand, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your teatimegolf.breck.org. One thing that Christian Little did tell us here on the show is that the injury that he suffered was a season-ending injury. So not only did he not pitch in Chapel Hill, he would not have been available for LSU for the remainder of the season had they advanced. So disappointing way for the season to end for Christian Little, for his career to end. But he finished really strong and he gave himself a great opportunity going into next month's draft. Okay, y'all, let me knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back, do Otter Locks with Jimmy, see what Jimmy's got for Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight. Celtics 6.5-point favorite over Denver. The game's up in Boston, getting started tonight. So we'll preview that with Jimmy next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or you can always call them. 888-8888, 888-8888. Yes, the folks at Rocco's are going to be sad Gordon won't be walking through the door this year buying whatever was 60,000 Jell-O shots or whatever it was. But, of course, we're still happy and proud to tell you about members of the G team and Gordon's partners. Tradez Green, new LSU football signee from Zachary. He'll be on campus coming up actually later this month when all the signees arrive. And Tradez, now part of the G team as well. So you want to learn more about Tradez, his story, the interactions with Gordon McKernan. I should mention also, of course, Tradez is a two-sport athlete, expecting to play basketball as well. So the photo shoot has a football and a basketball in it. Well, anyway, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. We appreciate you for being here with us. Jimmy will be here in just a quick second, having a little issue with the phone. The Saints did have OTA media availability yesterday, so we're waiting on Otter to jump aboard. One thing that was interesting, and we'll probably do a little deeper dive into this tomorrow, but a guy we haven't spent a lot of time talking about is Isaiah Foskey, and he was a guy that was a healthy scratch for the bulk of last year, despite being an early second-round pick. And while you've signed Chase Young has a neck injury. And Cam Jordan's older. And you're looking at that defensive end spot going, Etano Passanio obviously has a season-ending injury, likely a season-ending injury. You're going to need somebody to step up. And Foskey might be a good candidate to do it. And he was asked what was the hardest part of the transition to the NFL for him.
I felt it was just like learning the whole playbook, and I feel it was just like in my own head just trying not to make a mistake, and then that was just throughout the whole entire year, just in my head, don't make a mistake, but now I got the whole defense under 1 year, going full speed, just helped a lot.
You know, that makes a lot of sense to say, I was trying not to make a mistake. And so intuitively, whether you play football or not, this makes sense. You hear people talk about like the game slowing down, but that's true in life. Like, I remember the first job I ever had, and some of you could relate to this. Like the first job I ever had, I worked at a seafood market, and I would run the cash register and check people out. Well, initially, when you're learning where the buttons are and everything, it's a slow process. The line backs up. And then eventually, you learn where all the buttons are, and you can do it in your sleep, and it goes more quickly. So that does make sense. And it's reason to believe that while his rookie year was definitely disappointing, you're talking about a young, athletic dude who is talented and productive in college, in a major college program, and you hope can start to turn that into success at this level. Similar to Trevor Penning. Just maybe it's circumstance. So Foskey's one that I'll be really interested to watch, especially with Chase Young injured and Tano Passanio injured. There's a real opportunity at defensive end for somebody to step up, and maybe it'll be Foskey this year. All right, let's get to Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Otter, how are you?
Oh, just had the azaleas, man. What's going on, guy?
Wait, you're really muffled. What'd you say?
I'm sorry, I got the earbuds on. Just doing some yard work, man. Heading back the azaleas, so let me get you.
Can you please pick up the handset? You sound like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Let me get to it.
All right. Finishing today, coming across the finish line, just a rip-roaring way here. We're going to get it, though. Got confidence in the Otter to make this happen.
Did you get your...
There we go. There he is. What up, Otter?
Did you get your, what's the name in? Your 14 parlay?
I did not. I jetted out of here right after the show, completely forgot. What were the other three legs? Because I'll do it right now. I just want to have the Yankees game from last night. Or is it too late?
Yankees won last night. Ziatek won her toughest one. There's no way these other two can beat her in the finals. So she's unless she's I don't know, a molded baguette before the match there. She's good.
A molded baguette. Man.
Philippe
What imagery.
court. So she's
God.
good. So that's in Scheffler, top 10. He's second right now.
Okay.
After round one. So he's in great position, and A&M to win the Super.
All right. Well,
so we're in good shape there.
It'll keep everybody else busy. I missed the boat on that one. I'm guessing we're looking at game one of the finals tonight?
Yeah. And, it's open up 5.5, went to 6.5, so some sharp action on Celtics. I'm on the Mavericks here. If Indiana can score that easily on the Celtics, I think Luka and Kyrie can certainly create some offense, some easy bucket opportunities for the Mavericks to keep it close. So, and I like the way they're playing defense, man. Luka hadn't played much defense over his career, but he can take some possessions off on the offensive end because Kyrie can, go one-on-one, and that's, freshening and keeping him a little bit more fresh to play defense on that side.
Who do you like to win the series?
I like Boston, but I'm not laying that price. I think there's some value in Dallas. Getting that much plus money coming back. Boston was preseason favorite, and we know they can't control how the bracket falls and their opponents injuries. But man, they've had an easy path.
Yeah.
I mean, real easy path. And we had Chris Massaro live from Saratoga today, and he's a Bostonian, and he just. Charlie said, "Man, it sounds like you got trust issues with the Celtics." He says, "I'm betting against them every time." He says, "As long as Tatum and Brown are involved, I'm gonna be lacking a little trust." So I think I would take Dallas in the series, maybe 6. Yeah,
Dallas in 6. Okay, all right. Just the NBA Finals. Got any baseball tonight?
No, that's it. That's it for tonight.
All right, Otter. We'll let you get back to the azaleas.
Okay. All right, man. I'll see you.
Tomorrow, Friday, of course, Otter and Hanny are over at Rufino's for Friday edition of Live at Lunch. All right, just about going to do it for us as we get down the road. We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Y'all, storm season is upon us. We're into hurricane season now. You hate to say it this way, but it's a reality. It's only a matter of time before there's a storm in the Gulf, and that's the worst time to start thinking about a generator. Do it now. Call Optimize or go to GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Optimize is Louisiana's #1 Generac automatic home standby generator dealer because all they do is sell, service, and install Generac automatic home standby generators. 4 physical locations servicing the entire 1012 corridor, so Lake Charles to Slidell, anywhere in between. They got you covered. Optimize, they are the best. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Muse, what'd you learn today?
Gavin Guidry is older than Christian Little.
It's by like 9 days or something like that, but he is. 2 years apart in classification, but 9 days apart in age. Paul!
I learned that Livy Dunn has a mini Taylor Swift effect in Pittsburgh.
How about that?
What did you learn, Matt?
Kendall Rogers thinks Texas might make a run at Jay Johnson this offseason. Bring it, chumps. See you tomorrow.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Parrish Restoration. Mold Zero, Pure Restoration, now Parrish Restoration. All the same company, the same patented non-toxic dry fog. It's just that Richard Tilley and Ryan Terrio have merged with Jim Woodworth, and now they've brought everything under the Parrish umbrella. So same patented non-toxic dry fog, commercial, residential. They can handle demo and build back if you need it. You have water intrusion, you need to get rid of the smell, the mold, you need to cut sheetrock and all. They can do all of it for you there with a Parrish Restoration. But mostly, maybe you got black mold in the walls, think you might, don't know if you do. Or you want a sanitization product. Maybe you got a building that has a bad odor. You want to knock it out? This will do it. It's a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. Learn more about it. Read the full U.S. Army Corps of Engineers report on it. Or call Jim Woodworth and the gang over there and have them explain it all to you and give you a quote. It's Parrish Restoration. Go to parrishbuilt.com and hit the restoration tab. Parrish Restoration.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.